Hello, this is Discover, and we take customer service very seriously. We know that if you have a question or concern about your credit card, that's a serious matter, and you need to talk to a real person about it. So we offer around-the-clock access to seriously talented representatives in the USA. Again, it's a serious endeavor. The only funny thing about it is Bob. If you call us and Bob answers, you're in for a treat. Get 100% US-based customer service and talk to a real person day or night. Discover. Exceptionally common sense.
You need a work schedule that fits your life, and Amazon has shifts that help you make the best use of your time. Whether you're a night owl, early bird, weekend warrior, or somewhere in between, discover the benefits of thinking outside the 9 to 5. You decide whether to seize the day or the night so you can get back to what matters most. Go to amazon.com/shifts to learn more. That's amazon.com/SHIFTS. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hi, thanks for calling. Unfortunately, the Super J-Cast is closed for the evening. If you could please leave a message after the beep, Joel and Damon will return your call at their earliest convenience.
Hey Joel, Chris Charlton here. Just to say congratulations on having the second baby. I appreciate there's probably a lot of sleepless nights right now, but it does get more joyful and a little bit easier the more time goes on, I think. Congratulations again. Thanks for everything you do in the community and with the podcast, and all the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Super J-Cast. Your ears do not deceive you. I am not Damon McDonald.
And I am not Joel, although I do have a thick accent.
I feel like this show needs one person at least with a thick accent.
Yes. It's not a British accent. It's not an English accent. You will realize that I have a thick French accent, which is all good. Bonjour, bonjour à tous.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lawrence Corber. And not only my partner in podcasting, but my partner in life, my lovely fiance, Evelyn Paiement, is here with me.
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be with you today.
We're excited.
Yeah, we are.
This is a good time. So thank you so much for the Super J-Cast giving us the opportunity to cover a show. A little bit about us. Babe, how did you get into New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Super easy. It's you, let's be honest. Well, I was always a fan of wrestling. Like, even before, I went to see live wrestling shows, et cetera, et cetera. But Japanese wrestling is not something I've ever been into or even watched or even knew it existed before I knew you. And about 4 years ago, you were really into it. So I'm like, hey, that's a good way to get a man. Get yourself interested in what he likes.
So it was more of a trap more than anything else.
And now I like it so much that I am ready to follow you to parts unknown of the United States to go see shows of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Parts unknown was New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
It was Boston.
I don't know. Yeah. Where we did see a New Japan show, which was a lot of fun, actually.
Oh, it was the best time. And it was the time that I really got serious about New Japan. Because before that, I liked it. It was wrestling, but I knew none of the names, or I knew a couple of the big names. But after that show, I'm like, okay, there is something here. I'm excited. Let's do this.
Yeah, it was such a great day.
It was great.
It was fun.
I mean, Sonata winked at me.
What? That handsome motherfucker. I will fight him. I'll fight him. I don't care. I don't care how athletic or handsome he is. I'll throw hands.
Okay, fine. I can't wait to see that happen.
Sonata, if you're listening, if you got nothing to do with the Tokyo Dome, I don't think that'll work, eh?
Yeah, I don't think so.
just me, my fat ass was rolling out there in Japan, just be like, I'm coming after you. You winked at my lady.
He's like, who? What?
Who's this guy? What promotion? No, nothing.
No.
Sorry.
So yeah, that was a great time, and that's actually how I got into New Japan, and now it's a weekly thing, right? Well, whenever there's shows, but yeah.
It's not a consistent schedule, but it is a good time.
I get excited whenever I see the big matches coming up.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Speaking of big matches.
Whoa!
Tonight we are covering the November 19th show. of the World Tag League. I know Joel and Damon, they wrote to us and they're like, guys, I don't want to use the word begging. But they're like, guys, please, we really need your energy to talk about Hiromu versus Desperado. And we said, no.
Like, I know it's an anticipated match.
Yeah, one of the biggest rematches of the year.
We're all waiting for that one. Yeah, it's okay.
But you know what?
You know what?
My heart, body, and soul is really committed to November 19th World Tag League. I'm here to talk about Gorillas of Destiny versus Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto.
100%. I'm in. Bring out the dads.
You know.
Right? Am I right? We all love the daddies.
Oh, my God. Before we get to that and before we go down the card and give our thoughts and opinions, some big breaking news that actually came out of New Japan.
Right?
As you know, Wrestle Kingdom, now 3 nights because Wrestle Kingdom, they're just going to add a day until it's 365 days for some reason. So Wrestle Kingdom is now going to be 3 nights, January 4th, January 5th, and January 8th.
Woo!
And there was a lot of anticipation about what was going to be on these cards, what was going to happen.
True.
So we got an announcement, a joint announcement from New Japan Pro Wrestling. They are going to be running a show with Pro Wrestling Noah on January 8th.
Yes.
I, for one, very much excited. I have not watched Noah in many, many years, but I think it's going to be a really cool opportunity to see first-time matches and a bunch of different non-traditional matches. And in reality, what were you going to do for a third night of Wrestle Kingdom? You're just going to have like 1,000 multi-man tag matches and a lot of House of Torture
Bring out the
bullshit.
dads. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, more dads.
But seriously, you told me about that news that came out, and I was like, what is Noah?
Right.
So please give me a quick recap so I can put my head into it. Quick recap.
Oh my God, the history of Japanese pro wrestling. Basically, Pro Wrestling Noah was a company that started as an offshoot of another company. A bunch of top stars left, and Noah was literally like Noah's Ark. So it was a bunch of people leaving and going somewhere else to kind of start anew. And for many years, it was absolutely banger after banger, legends of the business, great professional wrestling. In recent years, has not had the level of business success that New Japan is experiencing right now.
True.
So a joint show is going to be really, really cool. I think it's going to give us some fresh matchups. They released a little teaser video.
Yes.
So it's about 7 minutes. It has Kazuchika Okada, it has Shingo Takagi, it has Hiroshi Tanahashi, and then it has 3 Noah guys. It has Nakajima, it has the Great Muta, who I'm not sure if you're familiar with.
No.
The Great Muta is a former New Japan legend when he was in his real physical prime.
Okay. We would say 80s?
80s, early 90s, absolutely.
Okay.
This guy was a big, big deal. And then basically, you know, he has gotten older. He is not in his prime years anymore, but he's still being really, really pushed in Noah.
That's good. He's got the face. He's got the aura
He has
around
the aura,
him.
absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
he brings the vibe.
He does. So basically, in this video, they interview Shingo and they say, "Shingo, what are you excited about?" And Shingo goes, "Oh, you know, competition's going to be nice, and we really want to do well. I fought this guy Nakajima twice, never beat him. Maybe I would fight him." They go to Nakajima. Nakajima says, "Oh my God, this and that. This is wonderful. We're going to kill these guys. They're number 1 in business, but we're number 1 in the ring." Which is like pretty standard pro wrestling stuff.
Which is exactly it. That's exactly it. Like New Japan is gonna profit from the fact that they're gonna have fresh new faces on their shows.
Absolutely.
Noah is gonna profit about the promotion they're gonna be
100%.
being in a New Japan Wrestle Kingdom show.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah. And then it goes to Kazuchika Okada.
Ooh, yeah.
And they said, "Hey, how do you feel about wrestling against guys from Pro Wrestling Noah?" And he goes, "I don't give a shit at all. I could not care less about Pro Wrestling Noah." They're like, "Who's that guy who challenged me? What's his name?"
You gotta
Who's
love
this
him.
guy? Oh, it was so funny. And then they asked him if he watched Pro Wrestling Noah. And Kazuchika Okada, straight-faced, looked in the camera and said, "You know, the Olympic team doesn't really pay attention to what the amateur club does around the corner." Holy
guy
shit. I know.
Keeps it real. Am I right?
I mean, this guy does not give a fuck about anything.
Oh, which is going to be great when he's going to get his ass kicked by... No, I don't
know.
I mean, I doubt it.
Well, the thing is, Okada has a little bit of a history with Noah, too. He, in his big title reign where he had a bunch of defenses, he defended once against Marufuji, who's like a big name in Noah. And in the history of Noah, a person who's widely regarded as one of the best wrestlers of all time is Mitsuharu Misawa. And Mitsuharu Misawa was famous for this move called the Emerald Flosion. So what he did is he was wrestling Marufuji, and before he beat him with a Rainmaker, he picked him up and he dropped him with an Emerald Flosion.
Whoa, his own move?
So like the move of like the hero and the late great of Noah, and you just see all the guys in Noah shirts around the ringside just losing their goddamn mind because Okada has committed a cardinal sin of professional wrestling.
God, those moments are the best.
I'm expecting Okada to just absolutely do much of the same. Hiroshi Tanahashi was very gentlemanly and very political correct and
As
say it's going to
usual.
bring the best out of everyone and no one loves New Japan as much as I do and bear the flag and bup. And then they went
great.
to Keiji Muto, who basically listed off just all of the greats he's wrestled. He's like, I wrestled Flair. I wrestled Hogan. I wrestled Sting. I wrestled Inoki. So he's just like, I'll fight anyone. I'll fight the biggest and the best. So I think it's going to be just like a fun night. I think we're going to have some great matchups.
Very interesting.
And you know what? I'm looking
excited.
forward to it. The one thing I'm not looking forward to is we have a New Japan World subscription, and we are going to have to wait an entire week to watch this show.
What is this? I guess it's TV contracts, maybe.
I don't know.
or
I'm not going to
know.
pretend that I understand Japanese TV rights.
We'll watch it, but the actual excitement of January 8th is going to have worn off a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're going to cover it. The Voices of Wrestling are going to cover it. This podcast is going to cover it. We're going to see 1 billion spoilers on Twitter. And then 1,000 bad takes, and then we're going to be like, no, we're going to watch it on the 15th, like it's going to be, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that's going to be a little bit annoying, but you know what? I am confident that it is going to be a good show.
Yeah.
I'm confident that probably everyone is going to work their asses off because it's a huge spot, and you're in the Tokyo Dome. And you know what? Those intra-promotional things, historically, a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
I really think that it's one of the best things that could have happened for night 3 of Wrestle Kingdom.
For sure.
Because at one point, one night, great. 2 nights, stretch. 3, what?
Yeah, if you actually do 3 nights, you have to have the Never 6-Man titles headlines. So just a nice House of Torture 45-minute main event in the Tokyo Dome.
Yay.
Dick Togo just is like
Dick
all over
to go.
Dick
My
to go.
favorite one.
Sir, what's your order? I want a little tiny Japanese man who chokes people. Oh, can I have 1 order of Dick to go, please?
Yes, to go.
Dick to go. So, babe, let's get down to it. You and I watched, but we made it through.
We made it through a lot of small episodes, right? It was
Oh, my God.
so weird.
Why?
Is it a new arena that they were in for the World
So they're
Flag League?
in Nagano. I've never seen them work this venue before.
Okay.
And what happened is usually they have an episode on New Japan World. You click on the episode. They have a nice music video. They tell you when the next shows are. There's this big orchestral thing, and then they go into the card. This was not that.
Not at all.
There was 6 small videos on New Japan World.
Of each match.
Match.
Individually.
Yeah.
No Japanese commentary.
No commentary at all.
No English commentary.
Nothing.
You could hear everything.
A pin drop.
Everything
So
in
you
that
have
place.
The clap crowds. You have no commentary.
Silence.
It was so weird. At one point, Tetsuya Naito was taking his pants off.
And you could hear for like a good minute of the Velcro of his pants. Because he does not do a Tai Chi, swash, let's go, my pants are off. No, Naito takes its time.
Yeah.
And you could hear every ounce of that Velcro coming apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was special.
It was special. So, obviously, it wasn't like Battle in the Valley was way worse because it looked like someone filmed it on a toaster.
It was low quality.
Low quality is an
was
understatement. It looked like it was edited under a bridge. What happened? Jesus.
Jesus.
So the first match of the night, unfortunately, the Young Lion match just didn't make tape. So
Yeah, we didn't even see that.
I hope these young gentlemen did well and everyone came out good, I guess.
Good for them.
I heard one of the 2 won, but I can't confirm or deny because I didn't watch the match. So it's all hearsay and allegations.
It's true.
First match of the night.
Yes.
The greatest wrestler in the history of New Japan. A man who defies all expectations. Someone whose cultural impact is only overshadowed by their library of in-ring greatness.
True. I agree.
And his partner, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Ladies and gentlemen, my favorite wrestler of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the great Toru Yano.
Oh, my God.
I'm not even joking.
I know, you love him. Everyone always gets on his case, but you're such a stalwart fan.
I'm always like, he's the best. Come on, guys. Every time Yano is on TV,
Yes.
I'm going to be entertained.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's fun.
I just love him. He's so funny. He's hilarious.
How do you feel about him and Tanahashi with the matching jackets and outfits?
Okay, I have to say,
Yes.
I was on the floor in love with that tag team. I didn't expect that.
Okay.
Because I remember the last year's Toriano team with Ishii.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty hilarious too. Like you
Well,
have the
yeah.
exuberant Yano, and you have the I'm here for the job Ishii.
Yeah, the most serious guy in wrestling. Yeah.
And then I was like, ooh, it's gonna be different with Tanahashi. Okay. And then they came out with matching costumes.
Yup.
The coolest bebop hairdo.
Oh, yeah.
And you
The hair.
told me they are representing, they are doing
A homage.
a homage to an actual cartoon, or it's an
anime,
anime in Japan called Bebop High School.
That's right.
And we researched it, and I'm like, oh my God, it's exactly the same outfits and hairdos. And then you're like, you're going to flip the F out. I'm like, what? You know what they're called?
Hiroshi,
Hiroshi
Toru.
and Toru. I'm like, stop it. I just love these references. I think
fun.
it's so cool that they actually put time to build a team. And that's one of the things that I love about tag teams is when they're actually a team. When you put just two
Right.
people together and they're like fight together, I'm like, okay, fine.
Right.
But when you actually put time into building a concept of you two being together, oh, I love that thing. And when they came out like this, I was just head over heels in love with their new team. I loved it. That's
Absolutely. They moved to 6 points. They defeated the team of Yuji Nagata and Tiger Mask,
Tiger
affectionately known as Blue Tiger.
it. Oh, so cute.
I know. We have to give Tanahashi and Yano a name. I was thinking the Ace and the Joker and or the Royal Flush.
Royal Flush. Yeah, but we're missing a couple of cards, right?
Oh, it's true. We need to have a couple more guys.
Joker and Ace.
Joker and Ace, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. It's decided. So, yeah, and also I found that Tiger Mask was really the heel in this one because he kept going after Yano's hair. This lovely coif.
Lovely coiffed. I'm like, and Yano kept on like trying to put it back together
Yeah,
after.
he worked hard on that hair.
Like, gosh, he didn't touch your mask, Tiger.
No, but Tiger Mask knew better than to go after Tanahashi's hair.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's like, if you mess up Tanahashi's hair, someone's going to just drag you out back and shoot you in the face. We don't, you don't mess with that.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah. What did you think about the match, babe?
I think it was really fun. Great energy by Yano.
Of course.
Loved it.
Always.
Since the beginning. You remember he's the number 1 fan of Hiroshi Tanahashi when he shows his face.
Oh, yeah, when he opens his
I
robe.
just
Yeah.
love when he does that.
That's fun.
Yeah, I love the match, even though it was like a beginning match, so you don't expect a lot of it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cool moves. There was a missed double low blow. I was like, oh no, Yano, that's your
But
thing.
that's what, yeah. But he did it right in front of the ref, too. So even if he would have connected, he would have lost.
Okay, he would have
Didn't think that one through.
lost. I guess so. But I love that he was combative throughout the match. Like, he was not, sometimes he goes in the corner and is like, oh, you wrestle.
Yeah.
He did that at first.
Yeah.
But then throughout the match, he's like, no, give me the tag. I'm going in there, which I really like about that.
The one thing I really had a problem with in this match is the finish. So, Toru Yano ends up winning by rolling up Tiger Mask.
True.
And what happened is Tiger Mask had him rolled up in a cradle, and then Tanahashi slides in and then reverses the cradle. So Tiger Mask is pinned. But my issue with that is they literally did the exact same finish at Battle in the Valley just a couple days ago in the United Empire versus Fredericks and Connors match, which had the exact same finish. So for me, like if we're watching New Japan and we're watching everything, it's like with a couple days removed and I'm seeing the exact same finish of this match.
Yeah, okay. But still, Yano pinned. I mean, we can say anything about Yano, okay? But this dude has the best pinning stats of the whole company. I am sure you review his pinning stats, no matter if it's a tag team, a 6-man tag match, or whatever. It's always him. He always gets the final pin.
I'm not equipped to say yes or no, but if Chris Samsa is listening, at the Chris Samsa, he's the stats guy, so he might be able to get on that case and crack it for us.
I would like to know who's got the best pinning stats, and I'm putting a 20 on Yano. That's it.
Putting a 20 on Yano. No problem. Next match, the United Empire team of the Great Okan and Aaron Hanare moved to 4 points when they defeat Suzuki-gun and Minoru Suzuki and Taka Michinoku.
Yep. My first time seeing Taka Michinoku.
What'd you think?
I love them both together.
Okay.
I think that they have a good energy together that is like rebel energy, and I don't know. They fitted well together, which I really liked.
That's because they're both like grimy assholes who like to hurt people.
Yes, I love Suzuki.
My thing here was, how does Aaron Hanare not get the pin?
Good question.
For me, this bothers me because Great Okan, we've already spent a lot of time and a lot of energy building up the Great Okan. Obviously, the United Empire has been a really important piece for Jeff Cobb, turning into a bad guy. He has this great G1 run.
True.
He's looking great. He's feeling great. We've established him moving up in the pecking order. Great Okan, we spend a lot of time. He's doing well. He tapped out Testio Naito in the New Japan Cup. He's had a feud with Hiroshi Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom. He's done all these things. Aaron Hanare was kind of spinning his wheel when he was on the home team. And now what we've done is we moved him over.
And he's still doing the same thing.
Kind of. Like, Okan comes out, the camera's always on him. Mm-hmm. They wrestle this entire match.
True.
Okan pins Taka. And then after the match, it's Okan facing off with Minoru Suzuki. So Aaron Hanare is just like the little brother being like, well, what do I guess? Stop it, guys. Stop fighting.
My opinion on that is that they're probably trying to build a very strong war in between Okan and Suzuki. Because let's remember, at the end of the match, they fought to backstage. Walking towards backstage, they were still fighting.
Yeah.
And they had some great bits during the match that it's just Suzuki against Okan beating the hell out of each other like two crazy men laughing. Like, really, like, disconnected, battling, laughing, and hitting each other like, give me the best you got. Ha, ha, ha. Give me better than that.
Two people enjoying beating the shit out of each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really think that they're pushing for something really big in between those two.
Interesting.
There's going to be like some kind of, I don't know, intercontinental whatever belt or whatever.
What belt could they possibly go for? Intercontinental doesn't exist anymore. US is wrapped up with Kenta. Never open weight is on Ishii.
Yeah.
There's no real title for these guys. If they're just doing a one-night thing.
They need a new title.
Oh, man, there's already so many titles.
Separate back those belts.
Yeah, you want an Intercontinental title back?
I want the old belts back.
I mean, I love the new belts.
I don't like the new belt.
Really?
The little wings. It looks like a toy.
I understand that. I like what it represents, the actual physical belt. I'm kind of lukewarm on. I do get that. But it's true that, you could have a compelling storyline if you do separate these belts and you do have these guys go after it. For me, I was really concerned because Aaron Hanare comes out there. He hasn't shown any kind of personality besides I wear sunglasses and I tighten my gloves.
Well, he's looking more and more like The Weeknd. Did you see his new mustache?
Mustache.
Am I right?
The little mustache.
All he needs is a light afro.
Yeah.
And he's getting right on there.
I was more concerned with his gear, his ring gear.
That arrow.
Okay,
what? Did you guys notice the big arrow pointing to his butthole? I am sorry, but that arrow on Inare's trunks was the most distracting thing ever.
Yeah, it looked like a road map. It was very...
It's like, do you want to know where... It's here. Arrows, follow the sign. Oh my God, he needs to change his trunks.
Yeah, I'm just worried because if he can't beat Taka Michinoku in a World Tag League, where do they see this guy being? Where do they see a spot for this guy?
True.
I understand every unit needs a guy to get beaten. You need a Bushi, you need a Yujiro, you need the Young Lions in a multi-man tag, you need a Honma, you need these guys who are going to eat pinfalls for every unit. I understand that. I just feel like Aaron Hanare is a guy who, if you give him the ball, he can succeed and he can be a big deal. He's big, he's athletic, he's good looking.
True, he's good. And they were good as a team, too.
I liked them.
They did this double submission, both of them in the middle of the ring at one point. It looked great. I
It's
love
like
their
Okan's neck crank, and he did like a crossed ankle situation.
That
It was great. Very cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, good match overall. Like the energy of both teams.
Yeah.
Like the craziness.
Suzuki did very little, but I guess that's just...
It's all about the character.
Yeah, he sent Taka out there to take an ass whooping, which is fun. Next up, we had the team of Area 51, which is Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens, defeat the team of the House of Torture, Evil and Yujiro Takahashi. Fale and Chase moving to 4 points. Babe, what are your thoughts here? Are exasperated before we talked about it. Jeez, I like that.
It's tough.
Okay.
Okay?
Tell me.
You know my feelings about House of Torture in general.
Well, the listeners, tell them.
I don't really like them.
Okay. I feel like you're probably in the majority there.
Okay, good. Evil is like, okay, he's the leader. Okay, fine. He's actually the one I like the most in the whole thing. I'm sorry. I know people will not be agreeing with this, but come on, Yujiro. I cannot stand this guy. Can't stand him. And who we have Show now?
Yep.
What is it? Mini Evil?
Essentially, yeah.
That's what he is now, but he's not. He doesn't have Evil's face, so it's weird. Anyways, and
No,
he
he has the weird face with the very intense eye contact.
because he's trying always so much, but it fits better with a baby face.
Right, he's
Trying
like a
that
guy
much,
who's like trying hard.
Then trying too much as a heel is
Right.
like. It looks awkward. Anyways, that's my take on House of Torture. Not a fan. But Evil, I always kind of liked him. Maybe because I liked him with Lij. And
Maybe you have
I'm a
some like
fan.
you haven't
residual
gotten over.
love.
It's like a breakup where you haven't gotten over it yet. You're like
Kind
I'm
of.
still holding out hope he can change.
I still like his outfit, his attitude, everything. He looks like the bad guy in what's it called, Mad Max or whatever. I like it. Dick to go needs to go.
Oh boy.
I can't. That attempt murder every freaking match. I have a hard time with
Just
this.
literally like the Hitman video
Yeah.
games where he shows up and tries to murder someone.
Rogue General, Crown Jewel.
Yep.
Kind of like them.
Really?
Well, it's Chase Owens. I used to not like Chase Owens because he was trying a lot too, and now it's just, I think he's funny.
I liked him in the G1. I think he
I
had
liked him in the
an
G1
excellent
too.
outing.
And the fact that they're now
They're the good guys.
They're the good guys in Bullet Club.
The House of Fire, Bad Luck Fale, with Dick Togo on his back with the garrote wire, just knocking through Yujiro with the cane, knocking down Evil with the chair. Just absolute good guy, Bad Luck Fale. Bad Luck Fale did get the win here after an assisted grenade where he pins Yujiro.
He Fale pins Yujiro, exactly. Yeah. There was no too sweet moment at the beginning of the match.
No, because,
Chase doesn't trust them.
Well, yeah, because Chase got punched in the balls in the G1,
exactly.
So he's very correct to be wary of Evil, right?
Exactly, and I agree with him. And of course, there was a lot of ref bumps and whatever as usual.
And bullshit and cheating,
but Chase and Fale managed everything at the end, and finally got the pin. And at the end, they were like, you know what? We will give you guys a two-sweet
I found
moment.
that so weird. I found that so strange because literally they start, first of all, the splinter groups with Bullet Club has to fucking end. The Elite, the Tongans, the Firing Squad, the House of Torture. Enough.
They need a group meeting.
Yeah, you know what they need? They need an open house. They need to settle some scores. They need to talk it out. They need a group therapy session.
Talk it out.
All 76 members of the Bullet Club have to get them in a room.
They're recruiting also.
Yeah, they're picking up Chris Bay and fucking everyone else. They're on Impact being like, we need more guys. They're like, what are you doing? Also, if you're Fale and Chase, I don't understand why you have the group hug at the end. Because these guys are like a splinter group and they've already fucked with you
honor.
Twice.
But it's honor.
These are the bad guys.
Again, they're the good guys in the bad guys. So they are able to extend an end and say, you know what? We're still going to love you, even though we're better than you.
That's why I don't like it. I don't like it. I think there should be some sort of show of a division. Maybe they're saving that, though. Maybe when Yujiro and Evil fight Gorillas of Destiny,
do you think
maybe that's when they show it.
Do you think it's coming? Do you think like Wrestle Kingdom, we're going to have a real split?
I don't want to speculate because every time they tease a Bullet Club breakup, it doesn't happen or it ends up being weird or flat. So I'm not really, I'm not invested in that.
I mean, House of Torture has their own T-shirts now. You know, for me,
What also? Can we talk about how horrible of a name House of Torture is?
it's awful.
It sounds like a kinky porn site. It's horrible.
It's awful.
Oh, the House of Torture. Shut up.
It's bad.
Ugh.
Anyways, how can a guy that is supposed to manage ladies is a torturer? I'm like, that's not a good sign. That's another thing. That
First of all, can we disagree that Yujiro looks like the least effective pimp of all time? He looks like if he tried to like talk to one of his like
it would be
employees.
like, yeah, whatever.
I feel like Peter would roundhouse kick him in the face and knock him out with her like
He
18-inch
does
heels.
not take care of his girls.
How do you know this?
How many times did I tell you Peter's shoes are crooked? This is a $70 buy that Yujiro could elevate his main girl
That's right.
and make her actually walk properly on high heels.
You know what, babe?
And he doesn't even do that. I feel bad for the girl. Look at her shoes next time she walks in the ring. It looks pretty awful. I'm like, Yujiro, you need to take care of your girls or else you're just not a good pimp, dude.
You know what, babe? That's a compelling argument. The next
you.
time Peter is in lingerie dancing in the ring, I will be sure to check out her ankles.
Well, I'm sorry. I am not the kind of person that will look at the crack or the other crack. I'm going to look at the fashion of it because I'm trying to get the positive out of this really bad thing, whatever. And the positive is if you have good shoes and good outfits. The shoes are awful.
So for you, it's more the fashion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Love the mask, though.
Love the bunny mask gets the seal of approval.
I like that. I didn't recognize her the other time when she came out and
In
she
a
didn't
baseball
have
cap?
to.
Yeah, you're like, is she a different person? I'm like,
who
babe,
is
there's only
that?
Yujiro can't afford more than one valet. He's not that successful.
So that's my take on this one.
Yep. Next matchup, the LIJ team of Testio Naito and Sanada defeat Great Bash Heel when Naito
The Great Bash Heel.
pins Tomoaki
Makabe. And Honma.
for like the 85th time.
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that all summer that we got?
Yeah, and Naito covered him, I think, for a 25 count recently, which I still remember. And he beat him here again.
I know.
This was a struggle. This was sloppy.
Again, with the fashion, Naito looked pretty good in his red suit.
You know, he didn't wrestle like he gave a fuck, but man, there's no commentary. The New Japan world is all over the place. Nothing's going on, but Testio Naito busted out the full attire.
Oh, yeah, and he looked good. It took a good 5 minutes before the match for him to take everything out. And as we said at the beginning of this show, weird, every Velcro bit.
Every Velcro. But there was a moment here where I really was like a little bit concerned because Testio Naito is coming back from a knee injury.
Yeah,
We're
I know.
trying to take a look at like, how is he doing?
How's
How's
the
the
knees?
movement?
How's
Is
the
he going from side to
knee?
side okay? And there was a moment where he just shoots Honma into the corner.
You know what's going to happen when Honma is in the corner.
A nice combinacion cabron. He's going to
Combinacion
go over to the
cabron.
apron like he's done a million times in all of his matches. He goes up, whoop, doesn't make it over to the
He
apron.
doesn't make it. He stays inside the ring, and then what? He just slaps Honma?
They exchange chops, and then he goes and he tags out to Sanada right
And
away.
they're laughing and talking about
That's
it?
it. Like he was pointing to his boot like he slipped or he
Yeah,
tripped, and then
yeah.
him and Sanada shared a little laugh.
But
And
boy, was
it
that
does not
worrying.
look well, that's the thing that concerns me. Is he slipping? Is it the knee? What's
Is
happening?
it
What's
the
the level?
left knee that wasn't strong enough to push him up the rope? It was. I know when we precisely checked that bit.
Yeah,
I got worried.
me too.
Yeah, but even though the match was great, Naito and Sanada did some great teamwork.
Well, these two are always, like a lot of
I
teams,
know,
they go
they're
one after
professionals.
another. They always have really good tag team chemistry. I just, for one, anytime Testio Naito wrestles Honma, just doing the Honma voice, just that, I laugh every time. I'm so I love that.
And
For
again,
sure,
we could hear everything.
Makabe was allegedly in this match. I did not see him. It's a fucking ghost story with this guy.
Do you know what I noticed though? I was watching him wrestling with Sanada.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, Makabe looks like an old version of Sanada. They had like the same
Blonde hair.
haircut, the
Yeah.
same blonde hair, the same kind of shape, the same facial
The same
hair.
kind of shape?
Well, I mean,
Sanada's chiseled out of stone.
you know, okay.
And he winked at
That's
you.
why I know. That's why I don't want to say this. Next. Okay. So what I want to say.
Does he have good ankle support? Are you looking at his ankles? Huh?
I didn't look at.
Are you looking at? Oh, you're not looking at his shoes?
No.
How convenient.
I do look at his new pants though.
They're his old pants. He went from like
Yeah,
the silver.
I know. He came back.
This
to
guy
the black
gets one
pants.
set of gear a year, and then he didn't even stick with it.
But yeah, I felt like they have the same kind of facial hair, the same hair, the same kind of wrestling style in a way. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know how you could say that.
Makabe felt like an older version, like Sonata in 30 years is gonna look what Makabe looks
It's like
right
a
now.
ghost. I don't know if I agree about the styles because Makabe.
Okay.
Well, Makabe now doesn't do anything, and even when he
Okay.
did wrestle, he was very different. He was very much a brawler.
Okay.
I think what you're getting at is like he's a version of the Ghost of Christmas Future, like Sonata.
Yeah.
If you don't do the right choices,
This is what you're gonna
you'll be
look
Togi
like.
Makabe.
Oh, and then you hear the chains clinking. Clink, clink.
The Toge Makabe chains around his neck. When he came to the ring, it was so fucking loud because it's nothing. You just hear him jangling. Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah. So again, okay match. Like the energy of LIJ.
Yeah, a bit sloppy.
Really worried for Naito.
Yeah, a bit sloppy for my liking. It just felt like it was Honma did the most of the lifting, and this guy's not very mobile. So when you have him in the match with the majority, it's not going to be. It's what can you do, really, right? So
That's true. It was a lot of floor work.
a lot of everything. Next match on the card: Dangerous Techers, the team of Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi,
Now that's a team.
moved to 6 points when they beat Tenkoji. Taichi getting the win after a Black Mephisto pinning
Tenkoji,
Satoshi
Tenzon, and Kojima.
Kojima. I love these guys. I mean, you're talking about two real teams. These are guys who have tagged for years.
Yep.
For years. I have a beef.
I know.
I have a gripe.
Me too.
I'm not happy.
Me too.
New Japan has put us through quite a few things over the last 2 years.
Gosh, they did.
Clap crowds,
Clap crowd.
which we understand because COVID.
Totally agree.
We
I
get
mean, you gotta, that's the thing.
We had to put up with Evil winning the double title on our birthday.
Oh,
Evelyn and I, for the listeners, we have the same birthday.
I know, right? Isn't it cool?
That's very cute. That's how she actually started dating me. She slid in my DMs and she's like, we have the same birthday.
I'm like, astrology-wise, this is the best.
Jesus. So Evil won the double titles on July 12th, which is our birthday. And we were planning such a party, too. We had a hot tub filled with champagne, but we're like, drain it. It's
We're
not,
ready.
No,
No,
we're
didn't
not doing
happen.
it. I refuse. So we've been through a lot.
Been through a lot.
And this might be the most egregious. This might be worse than the House of Torture cheating.
This was hard.
This was hard.
So, Dangerous Techers comes out.
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. leading
Yep.
on his entrance music.
What?
No sign of Taichi's entrance music.
What?
That was tough, guys.
What? Why?
I need my dose of Taichi entrance music
You know?
every time I see him on the card. And that's what I'm usually most excited about. I love it. I told you not so long ago, we had a conversation. You're like, Evelyn, what's your favorite entrance music? I'm like, well, hands down,
Taichi.
the drama of the musical of Taichi's cordless microphone singing.
Much to the chagrin of Rocky Romero.
I just love it. It's a theater piece.
For sure.
I love that entrance, and I kind of know the words now.
Oh.
No, but
So you gonna sing it here live?
let's not do that
Let's not, okay.
for the listeners, okay?
That's fair.
No, okay, no. I'm stopping right now.
Fair enough.
But
So-
I was so disappointed.
Yeah, I think this was a match that I enjoyed. It was a match that obviously I think it was way more entertaining than the first 4 matches on the card. Mm-hmm. It's something that, it showed me that, Kojima's still great.
I like the way that they brought some kind of old school cockiness.
Yeah.
Their characters, Kojima's and Tenzon, was on point. Let's give them that.
The one thing that always bothers me about Tenzon is he still used the Mongolian chop after he officially lost it or whatever.
True, yes.
Which is like, why would we do a stipulation if he's just going to keep chopping people? It means that I shouldn't care about a stipulation in the future, because if you lost a move and this move you can't do anymore, but you're just doing it anyway and there's no repercussions, then why the fuck do I care about any kind of stipulation in the future?
Does he actually lands it, though?
He lands it, yeah.
Okay.
He hits it.
I feel like every time he's getting blocked now.
Nah, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Anything else about Tenkoji?
Well, I really like the fact that Zach sold the hell out of every bump that he was taking.
He was bumping his ass off for
Oh
Tenzon.
my God, Zack Sabre Jr., props for that one. That looked amazing on you, even though you were like not.
Well, no, he's like, he took a shoulder tackle. He's getting his ass handed to him. He took a Mongolian chop like it killed him. Zach really worked his ass off for Tenzon.
I know. I really like that. Do you remember also when Kojima was double slapping the techers in the corner?
Yeah, he always he's doing the machine gun chops to both of them, and they're selling it like death. Yeah, no, they love it.
That was cool.
Yeah, Taichi was Taichi. He choked some people. It was a good match. It was a good little match. Nothing remarkable, but it was very handy. It was well worked.
You could see it was a little slow. Also,
well, it's Tenzon and Kojima. How fast?
You had Taichi bounce 3 times on the ropes because he saw that.
Oh, yeah, because Kojima wasn't ready for the axe bomber. Yeah. And I mean, that's the mark of a professional. He's waiting.
Professional. It didn't even show that much.
Yeah. Well, he sold a little bit like he was staggered. It came off fine.
I liked it. I like the techers. That's the thing.
And in our main event, babe.
Oh.
Our main event. A match that I think is going to be a before and after moment in the history of professional wrestling. Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, the Chaos side, moved to 4 points after defeating the Gorillas of Destiny when Yoshihashi rolls up Tamatonga.
G-O-D, Tamatonga and Tagaloa.
Great theme.
Great. Do you know what I would really appreciated about the entrance of these guys?
What's that?
Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi.
Matching shirts?
They got their T-shirts!
Yeah.
I think nothing officializes a tag team more than having an actual tag team T-shirts.
Wonderful.
And they did it, and it looked good, and I was so happy for them. Yes!
That was great. I think these guys worked their asses off in the main event.
I really like that.
Yeah,
Tagaloa. I feel like they gave 110% because they knew that they were the only regular tag teams match on the card. So they're like, you know what? We're going to give it to you and you will be entertained.
I mean, they worked really hard. Tagaloa's doing like fucking top rope headbutts and there's splashes and there's back and forth. Bunch of tag team maneuvers. For me, these guys worked really, really hard. I think obviously the main event was the best match of the night. Obviously, it's not a great card. It's not a card you're going to maybe revisit or anything like that. But I thought that it was really fun. It was fun to watch.
It was fun. Every tag team looked good as a tag team. G.O.D. as usual. They're just so good together. Yeah. Oh my God, these guys, please stay together forever. And
a lot of guys want them to go on singles runs after their G1 performances.
Well, they can do both of it. That's the thing. They did it in the G1 and it was cool.
True, absolutely.
But I feel like their essence is being a tag team together. I love them together. They're so good. And Tama's taking his shirt off. He's like, I'm so super ready for this. Yep. And it was high flying. It was the actual only high flying bits that we got through the whole show.
Absolutely.
So I was excited. You know how I love when people are flip flopping everywhere.
That's true. How did you feel about, you have a very differing opinions on Yoshihashi.
I know. So I have the screamometer for Yoshihashi. For this match, we are well over 20 people.
20 screams.
So I do a mix of the battle cries and the hurt scream. But yes, Yoshihashi likes to yell, doesn't he?
How else are you going to know that you're a fiery babyface if you don't yell, babe?
So we got at least 5 battle cries from Yoshihashi, which, I mean, it fills out the arena. It fills out the place.
Well, it's the only thing you can hear. There's no fucking commentary.
You gotta love it. What did we say? I even made a song for this. Every hit you take, every punch you gave, every bump you had, every I'll be screaming out. Yoshihashi.
By stinging the police. Yeah.
Miss a beat.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
But yeah, you gotta love him. He's we say in French, du cœur au ventre. This guy has a warrior spirit.
Heart on the sleeve, yeah.
He never stops. He always goes for it, never gives up. You gotta love Yoshihashi.
Definitely a sentimental favorite.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So let me recap where everyone is. We have the team of LIJ, the Ace and the Joker, Dangerous Checkers, 6-point, perfect 3-0. The Gorillas of Destiny, Chase and Fale, Goto and Yoshihashi, and the United Empire team at 4 points, Tenkoji 2 points. Unfortunately, Great Bash Heel, the House of Torture, Blue Tiger, Suzuki Gun, all at 0.
Yeah.
Who's going to win, babe? Quick.
I gotta go for God.
Wow.
They're a great tag team. I don't know why they couldn't be there till the end. I mean, Dangerous Stickers, God. I know we had that already.
I know. That's why my pick.
Oh,
United Empire. Give it to someone new. Build some
I
new
know.
stars. Let's give them something to do.
I know, it's true, and they were a great team too. So I wouldn't mind if any of the good teams would go forward. But I mean, I love the real teams.
Yeah.
I just love the real teams.
I hear you. Babe, if someone wants to follow you on social media, how do they get in touch?
So again, my name is Evelyn. My handle is Evilicious with a 5 at the end. So that's EVILICIOUS on Instagram.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get in touch with me or follow me on the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, LULLY514. For Evelyn Paiement, my name is Lawrence Corber. Thank you for listening to the Super J Cast.
It was a blast. I can't
so much
wait
fun.
to hear you guys.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Sorry to interrupt your programming, ladies and gentlemen. Normally you would be listening to the Super J Cast, but you have been interrupted by the far superior, the Super Dad Cast. Ladies and gentlemen, now with your host, John and Elliot. Here we go.
What's up, John? Hello, fellow dads, and also all the non-dads out there. If you're not a dad, that's cool. You can still listen.
You can still listen. Hey, the Dad Cast is for all dads, no matter
Indeed.
what. Dog dads, cat dads. I don't know about snake dads. Maybe not snake dads.
I'm cool with snake dads.
Okay, all right. We're an inclusive dad cast, so no matter what, you're a dad at this point if you're listening. And so, of course, we still are dads. We have lots of things we do, but we also have a love of New Japan Pro Wrestling and the Super J Cast. So first, I want to say thank you to Damon and Joel for giving us the opportunity to come and talk some New Japan. Night 2 is what we're doing on the World Tag League.
All right. Well, so John, should we get to night 2? You said, right?
Yes. This is
November 17th. So from where did this even happen? Did we take that note?
Let's see here. I think I have it.
Well, while you're looking for it, I'll go ahead and say that it was another one of those buildings that looks like it could only exist in Japan and nowhere else in the world, which I love. Like, I love seeing these places. Like, it's like a gym. I don't understand what this gigantic structure is.
I know. Like, how do they have these giant gyms that they're able to do this? They're not saying, and any of the results I'm seeing, Toyama is where they're at.
Toyama? I don't even know that.
I wouldn't even know that either. But yeah, like do they have like these community gyms that they're like, that's what it looks like to me. It's like they're in community gyms, just kind of, all right, we've got this large gym, here you go. So and I guess that's what they do is, hey, we got these community gyms, and so this is where they wrestle on these nights. So
crazy.
I don't know about you. Do we want to talk about the Young Lion match that starts this thing?
Well, I didn't watch it. Did you?
No, I didn't either. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. So I didn't.
Again, like we've made clear, in the interest of time, we have to skip past some of these things. Like we just have to. So but it's Oiwa and Fujita, right? Are the two guys that are? Yeah. Oh, wait, was it? No, but the third, the guy who was injured is back, right?
Right. It's Yuto Nakashima and Ryohei Oya. Oiwa. They kicked it off.
I bet they did.
And then they were, of course, being a Young Lions match, it was basic wrestling, black trunks, and the result was a 10-minute tie. So
10-minute draw. Okay.
10-minute draw. 10-minute
that's something.
Draw. Yeah, I mean, which is what you're going to see on most of these things. If most of the guys, until you start seeing some of these guys starting to stand out a little bit, that's when you start seeing one guy taking another or doing something along those lines.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
Because like when Yumura and some of these guys would start to stand out, that's when you start seeing them get these, one over the other
kind of
thing. So,
and when I first started watching, it was Jay White and David Finlay going at it every night, and it felt like Jay White would win like every single match, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was. But that was that. I mean, it's a Young Lions match. What do you want from a Young Lions? You're going to see basic wrestling. These guys who are working in the dojo, working their ass off, to make the New Japan roster, and that's what you're getting. There's nothing
else.
That's it. There's nothing more I would say to that. Now, Elliot, we had talked about giving all these matches dad ratings. Obviously, we can't give these guys dad ratings. They're Young Lions. So
Young Lions cannot be dads by law.
By law. So we have to rate them 0 on their dad ratings, right?
Yep. Well, maybe a not applicable,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well. Yeah. Incomplete. Not. What is it when kids down there? They don't have their tough stuff in. They get They get like an incomplete.
Well, if they're not meeting the target, we give an NM, but just to be a 0, just not even actually tried. Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going that route. So,
but now let's get to a couple dads. Actually, a few dads, I think. So I think the next match I see is the GOD versus Yuji Nagata and Tiger Mask. So that's the one I have listed. I don't know if you have a different setup. I got notes in order, so I got the order from here.
Okay, all right. So that's what I have. We have God versus Yuji Nagata and Tiger Mask. Now, first we got to give dad ratings. Let's start with God. All right. So Tama Tonga. Out of do we want to do out of 10 or out of 5?
Out of 10. I like 10.
All right. I like 10 too. All right. So we're saying Tama Tonga. What are we rating him as a dad?
I think he is an actual dad.
He is.
So he's got to be a hell of a dad. So he's probably about an 8.
I would say so too, especially when you're the son of Haku. I mean,
that's oh my God, that's right. The ultimate dad.
The ultimate dad is Haku. All right, Tagaloa. What are we rating him?
Like Joel talked about on the JCast, those videos that Tagaloa was making during the G1, he seems very endearing, like a very gentle, loving guy. So if he's not a dad yet, if he does choose to be one in the future, he might even be, I'd say an 8. Let's give him just an equal rating there with his brother.
I mean, if nothing else, I would give him the 8, especially maybe even higher, maybe towards a 9, because as the crazy uncle factor. Yes. He definitely meets crazy uncle factor as like a level 9 or so. But I would say if he was a dad, I would agree him and Tom are about 8 each. All right, so Yuji Nagata.
Yuji Nagata is a 10 on the dad scale.
Oh yeah,
I think he's tweeted pictures of him reading to his kids and stuff like that.
Going to their kids wrestling matches, like their amateur wrestling matches. Nice. He's big into that too. So yeah, I mean, easily 10. Yeah. Tiger Mask.
I've never been a big Tiger Mask guy, kind of in general. I don't know about you.
Nah, not really.
No. But he's probably very nice. So I didn't watch the match yet where he and Robbie win the junior tag belts. But I did watch his post-match promo. It came off as a very genuine, excellent guy. So I'll go 7 for Tiger Mask.
I'm gonna go 6 because I see him more grumpy a lot of times than I do happy. So so like he seems like that dad that's just super pissed and annoyed at everything a lot of times. And maybe he's had a few beers. And it's just like, a little upset about what, things are going. And like, I can see him being like sitting on the porch, yelling at people to get off his lawn. So I'm going to have to rate him a 6 just because more that I've seen him grumpy than I have happy. And so I've got to go that rating for him on that.
That's quite fair.
Yeah.
How about the actual match? Do we have anything to say about it?
Not really. Did you think that Nagata and Tiger Mask were going to beat God? No. I mean, let's be honest. God is one of the top runners on this. They were already up, and Nagata and Tiger Mask hadn't had any points yet. So, and the fact that Tagaloa submitted Tiger Mask via the OJK, which is Jado's old tap out, his basic crossface. it was 7 minutes. This match was 7 minutes.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, right. I mean,
but let's point out that even in 7 minutes, God did still find a way to like do chin locks and slow everything way down for a little bit.
yeah. Which, I mean, honestly, it's been very interesting to see God comparative to when, like, back, like I said, when I saw him in 2017. And then, of course, there was that match in Wrestle Kingdom, which was the most cursed match ever. I mean, where, like, that was the other one that got me to New Japan, was their match with, like, Honma and them, where they were just like, fuck, Makabe. They just fuck shit, fuck, all that stuff. And Kevin goes like, well, pardon our language, folks, and it's like, it cracked me up because it was just like, this is hilarious. Like, the Japanese people love that so much, of just them, throwing out so much F-bombs and, S-bombs and stuff. And I was just like, oh, this is hilarious. But the pacing of that match was so fast. And, even with then, with Honma and Makabe, and then now you're watching, and you could tell that even though there's more chin locks, but there's a purpose behind it. They're telling the story. They're being that heel. They're doing the things that they need to. To me, I think it's better than when they were 4 or 5 years ago. Now they're a much more accomplished team. To me, I want to watch them more now than I did earlier.
I think that's true. I think that's right.
I mean, they've lessened their bullshit. They're really telling good stories in the ring. I think the G1 showed that they were good individual wrestlers. And I think this is going to show that how damn good they are as a tag team. We've known this for a long time, but I think they're really matured and come into their own as a tag team. And I think this is just going to be that coming out party for them. Not that we needed that. It's just, they're really a step above everybody else out in this tournament. I see from what I saw from this tonight anyway.
Yeah, I'd at least put them like on equal ground with a couple other teams that we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
sure.
Easily.
Okay. Well, we good on that match?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. All right. So next we had the team of Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus Satoshi Kojima and Hiroyoshi Tenzon. So my first note for it was that Yoshihashi and Goto have a new shirt.
Yeah.
Did you notice this?
Yeah, I did.
It's like a weird cartoon drawing of them. I don't know. It looked okay, I guess. What do we think? I'm
not buying it.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm sure they're not going onto the site and spending $30 for it.
But, no. I mean, there's very few items so far that people have put out in New Japan that I've been like, oh my God, I got to get that. This did not do anything for me. It's Yoshihashi and Goto. I mean, the fact that this year Yoshihashi is now on the same level as Goto is just going like, what is happening right now? I don't know. Worlds. Oh my God! It's just we're in the darkest timeline. We are in the darkest timeline.
Hey, I consider it a bright timeline if Yoshihashi can, guff himself up and work his way up to a higher standing for us, because he really has,
Yeah, he has.
And I still, as much as people rag on Goto, I had a question back on like the New Japan Cup earlier this year where I had that they read it on the JCast, and it was like, why do we always when a Goto match is about to happen, we're always like, whatever, and then Goto wrestles and we're like, hey, this is pretty great.
Yeah.
That's always my experience with him. So this was kind of mid-level Goto, I think. This match here, it's a tag match in. All right, I've already forgotten. No, I have it still here. Toyama, he's not going to give his all, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they did their thing. The one interesting spot I think that's even worth mentioning in this match, actually, there's two. One was Kojima was going to do his spot where he yells. I've never quite gotten the full phrase that he yells. It's something Bakayaro, I think.
Oh yeah.
But it means like, I'm going to get you, you bastard, or you something, or whatever. But Goto reversed it, and then Goto threw him down, and then he yelled something of his own, and I don't know what it was, but I'm sure it was something dad-like, probably like a good kind of dad.
Yeah. Which but we haven't given our dad ratings.
We forgot to give our dad ratings. Let's just end this one with our dad ratings.
Yeah. I say we do. All right. Yeah, I do. I mean, of course, we'll save Tenkozy for the back half because those are secure dads. So, All right, Yoshihashi, let's start with him. What's our dad rating for Yoshihashi?
I just feel like, I don't know if he has children or not, but I feel like he just in general is such kind of a low energy guy. I don't know if he's going to be bringing really a lot to the table as far as like helping with bedtime, helping with the bath and stuff like that. And if he does try, he'll just, trip and injure his head like he did that one time. So I got it just to be, I think maybe about a 5 for Yoshihashi.
Yeah, I'd say a 4 just because his haircuts are always stupid.
And it just,
he seems like that fashion dad. Like the dad who wears the nice clothes, has the funky haircuts and looks good. And it's more about his looks than than being a dad. So
exactly.
I got to go that. All right. So Goto, what are we giving him? Dad rating.
Goto does, as he's exhibited on Twitter, he's a solid dad. He's a good 9, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree on that one. And of course, Tenkozy. Let's start with Kojima. Let's start with him. Let's do that. President of the Bread Club.
He's one of the most delightful presences on Twitter that you can follow as a wrestler. 10 out of possible 10. I'd give him 12 if I could.
Yeah, easily. If he's not a dad, he's everybody's dad. You can't not love the guy. All right. And all right, so let's go Tenzon. Where are you at with him?
Yeah, Tenzon's good. Maybe an 8.
Yeah.
He seems like a very nice man.
Yeah, I would say I would also give him the crazy uncle rating of maybe a 10 if he was, more than anything else. I get more crazy uncle vibes from him. So I would give him a 10 on that. But as a dad, I would say probably about 8, maybe a 7.5, maybe a 7.5.
Like
somewhere in there. So, all right. So the next one, the next match we have then is Bebop World Tag League. AKA Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano. God, I can't say that with a straight face.
Wait, is that really what they're calling themselves?
Yes, that's what they're calling themselves.
Right. Let me hear that again. Bebop Tag League?
Bebop World Tag League.
Bebop World Tag League. What on earth does that mean?
I have no effing clue. I have no clue, but that is what they are legit calling themselves. And I'm
all right. That's fine.
All right, fine. Whatever. Okay, cool. So we got that defeat Great Heel Bash or Great Bash Heel, of Togi Makabe and Honma. Dude, these first 3 matches all like New Japan dad stuff. Good Lord.
Definitely.
Good Lord. This first half of this thing has been all dad stuff, all in our ballpark. This is why Joel wanted us to do this. He did night 1. Super Dad Cast had to come and step in because the first 3 matches are all dads. So, all right. So, do we want to do our dad ratings first, or do we want to?
Yeah, I think there's not much to say in this one other than just the dad ratings. I think.
Yeah. Really. You knew who was going to win this one anyway.
Yes.
Even though it's this, I don't even understand why they're called that. There's got to be. I know Cowboy Bebop's coming out. As a live action movie here in the next like in 2022, I believe, if I remember correctly. But that's not it. It's got to be something. Some Japanese thing that I don't understand. Which, by the way, when they said Tanahashi and Yano were going to be a tag team, how did you feel about this?
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's like just random pairing. And was the speculation that one was no, that was the Nagata and Tiger Mask team where the suspicion was that Ibushi was supposed to be involved in that team somehow,
right?
Because no, I don't know. It's just it's a random pairing for a tag league because Tanahashi is addicted to World Tag League and can't not do it apparently.
Right? Yeah. Dude, come on, really? You don't have to do this.
No, you really don't. All right, well, so let's do dad ratings.
Okay.
How would you rate Toru Yano?
Okay, so I can't give him a dad rating. He is so goofy. That is like the goofiest dad ever. So he was easily a 10 on the crazy uncle scale. I say that because I am a crazy uncle. I'm when I'm not my dad, doing my dad role, I'm driving to, about an hour away to go see my niece wrestle or do soccer, and I'll yell from the sideline, "All right, let's only murder one person today, Ellie. Let's go!" I'm that kind of crazy uncle. So he gives me that. If he's going to be a dad, I'm going to say 5 because he's just so goofy and over the top. And, always trying to sell his DVDs and just hustling all it. To me, he seems like being a dad would be an afterthought to him almost. So I got to give him a 5 on my dad rating.
I'm going to give him the exact same 5. I think that sounds good. What about Tana Hoshi?
Oh, Tana Hoshi's a 10. I mean, he did the My Dad's a Heel Wrestler movie. I mean, you can't not love that, I mean, and if he's not a dad, I mean, surely that dude's a dad. He's too pretty not to be a dad. He is a pretty dad, but
so pretty.
But I also, if he is a dad, he would be a really good dad. I mean, just the small amount of time I got to spend with him in Dallas when we met him with my son, very attentive, very nice, very, I mean, all that stuff. So easily could be a good dad. So I'm gonna give him a solid 9 for dad.
Yep. He gets the exact same 9 from me. Tanahashi is a warm-hearted gentleman, and I won't hear anything to the contrary.
Yeah.
Togi Makabe as a dad.
The big gorilla, as they call him sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I get more crazy uncle vibes from him, so that's easily a good 9 for the crazy uncle vibe. If he's a dad, I'm gonna go about a 7. I mean, he seems like he'd be the dad that loves you, but is also super tough and super rough, and like he loves you, but it's in that hard way that you're just like, I know you love me, but you're kind of an asshole about it. So I don't know. So I got to give him about a 7 on that one.
I'll go 8 actually. I've heard that he's one of the more famous wrestlers in Japan.
Right.
Like he's on these talk shows and he's like on cooking. He does cooking stuff. So I think we just don't see a side of him that the Japanese people get to see as much. So I bet he exhibits a lot of softness and warmth of character. Okay. So he's an 8. What about Honma?
That guy, I mean, he's so tan. I mean, I swear he can light up you don't know if you stick him in a room, if he'd light up. He's just been exposed to so much like suntan,
Yep.
Either bronzer or suntan beds. I don't know. And of course, I do know that, of course he was injured for a while and came back. And, so with that in mind, I've got to give him, I got to give him a rating of 4, because he was seriously hurt and he still came back to wrestle. And that to me says, I mean, is he doing it for his family? Is he doing it for himself? I don't know.
Wow.
if I'm seriously hurt doing something like that, I'm thinking, what's best for my family? If my family wants me I need to be around for my family. I'll need to find another way. He probably could have made another, thing. But then on top of it, there's just the whole spray tan thing to me. I mean, the dude is so dark. It's just like it's that bodybuilder level like tan that's like unnatural. And I'm like, that can't. You're spending half your time not with your kid, but getting your tan. So I got to give him a 4 on this one. I can't do it.
I'm 100% with you. And I think as we go here now, with the time we have left, I'm going to try to Google each guy and see if they have kids or not. And it appears that Honma does not have kids. So get him out of here. All right. This match. I think that's about all I got to say about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was 13 minutes of them running around and, Tanahashi winning with the high five flow over Honma. I mean, it was there. It
was there. How are we on time right now? I think we're starting to push it a little bit, aren't we?
I think we're okay. We're not terrible,
Okay. All right. We don't want to, the time of the Super J-Cast listener is precious to me. Yes. I know it's precious to you, and we want to show proper respect.
Well, and my bedtime is precious to me.
And your bedtime is very precious as well. We need to get John his beauty sleep tonight.
That's right.
So next match was Great Okan and Toa Henare versus Evil and Yujiro Takahashi.
Yep.
Before we get to the dad ratings, I just got to say, like the spot where Evil knocks somebody into the ring announcer and knocks them over. Mm-hmm. Are we just going to see that until we all die? Is that just never going to stop?
Yeah, probably.
Oh my God.
That is going to be the case. I mean, this match, honestly, I was looking forward to because I'm like, all right, no more dads. And we've got Evil and Okan, 2 big old boys going at it there. Henare And Yujiro, cool. I mean, I like me some Yujiro. I know some people hate on Yujiro.
Yeah.
But Yujiro's solid hand in the ring, man. And I like the Tokyo Pimp gimmick. I love it. I think it's great. I mean, who doesn't like looking at Peter? Hello. I mean,
it's not the most 2021 progressive thing, but she seems to be having a good time, I guess. And I don't know. You just got to hope that your kids don't walk in the room when you see on the screen, because you're going to have to do a quick dive to, turn that TV off.
Of course, the moment you're watching guys just beat the crap out of each other, but then they all walk in when Peter gets on the screen.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
No, you don't need that. You don't need that.
No, but this is the match I was looking forward to. But then again, this whole House of Torture thing it's become a House of Torture in the sense of all the bullshit. The evil and this whole House of Torture thing have taken over the bullshit that Tama and them used to do. And I mean, I hate it. It's not any good at all.
It's not good. Although I do demand that we call it what Joel and Damon were calling it on the last episode, which is the Haunted Castle.
Yes.
I think we just need to make that be the push. Is just it's the Haunted Castle.
It is.
I don't acknowledge House of Torture.
No, not at all.
But it's whatever. Yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with it it's seemingly forever, in eternity, and that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
So as far as dads on the dad rating, where do we put these guys? Where's Great Khan sit on our dad scale?
Great Khan, he just come off excursion. I can't get. I mean, I'm gonna say a best of two. He's nowhere near dad. I don't think he's at that level yet, because he's just getting started. And so I've got to go maybe. I mean, he could probably be a dad, but right now I don't think that's his focus. Or if he is a dad, he's probably a poor dad because it's not his focus. So I'm going to go two.
I'm going to guarantee he's not a dad because he's too much of an anime perv to have the time to devote, be a good parent. So
right.
I think he must. But if he ever does become a parent, I bet he'll be able to drop a little bit of that. Maybe keep a little bit of the anime perv within himself, but still be able to be a proper dad. How about Tomo Hanare as a dad?
Hanare. I see. Being he's from New Zealand, has strong family roots. I would say if he's not a dad, I would give him a solid I'm going to say a 6. I would say he's a good, solid young dad, learning. Starting to figure things out, doing his best to be a good dad. We'll make mistakes along the way, but because we all have when we're growing up and we're learning how to be a dad. But I think the effort is there and there's room to improve. So I'm giving him a 6 on the dad rating.
Okay. I'm going to give him about a 7. I think people from New Zealand are better at just about everything, really. So he's got to have some skills. So he'll be a good dad.
Okay.
How about Evil as a dad?
No. I mean, I know he just, he's getting married or whatever, but I got to give him a 1. I mean, no. Nothing about him screams dad. And then if it is, he would be the worst dad. Just the worst.
Definitely. He's marrying Io Shirai, right?
Right.
How that?
I
don't understand.
I don't get it.
Why is she okay? She can just do. I just think, Io, honey, you can do so much better. Okay, just so you know. All right. So, but yeah, 1 for him as well. Yujiro Takahashi as a dad. I don't know. I think the fact that I think we can judge his dad skills based on no commentary on Peter. I'm sure in her own life she'll be a great mom, but the reason he's bringing her to the ring, I don't think bodes well for his general view of women or his skills as a dad. But what say you?
I have to agree. When you call yourself the Tokyo Pimp, I don't think you can. I don't think you can be a dad. He's definitely on the high scale of the creepy uncle. So he gets the creepy uncle vibes. But on a dad, again, this is another one. Him and Evil pair together real well as for the lack of dadness in this aspect. So,
I'm with you. Who even won this? Oh, Okan and Hanare won with that little tag finisher that they have. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, the Imperial Drop is what they call it.
Imperial Drop. So,
but I mean, there was a pimp sticks. There was kendo sticks. There's all kinds of bullshit.
I got no time for it. No time for it if I'm trying to watch a World Tag League show.
Yeah, exactly.
I refuse. No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to we had Tetsuya Naito, and Sonata versus Minoru Suzuki and Taka Michinoku.
Big surprise. Big return.
Big surprise. Just based on what we learned about Taka, gonna go ahead and just give him a 1. Don't need to. Nope, no, thank you, Taka.
Yeah. We know. If you don't know, then go listen to an old Super J cast. But yeah, Taka definitely gets a 1 for that. So,
but the murder grandpa Minoru Suzuki as a dad.
I want him to be my dad. So he's easily a 9 for me. He's that dad that would love you, be tough, but like it's a good tough love, and would beat the shit out of anybody who just said anything sideways to you. He's that dad that you're like, what do you want to say, motherfucker? And then that dad, while your dad's standing behind you, and you know that your dad will whip anybody's ass in the schoolyard. So he's that dad you want on your side. So he's easily a 9 for me.
Good. He's a 9, maybe a 10. Just a phenomenal presence on social media. Obviously, a wonderful man. Sonata as a dad.
Again, this is a pretty guy. I feel like there's more. He's more about himself, a little, and not as much substance. I'm gonna say a 3. I'm giving him a 3 because if he is a dad, I don't feel like he's gonna be. And of course, you have to have emotion as a dad. And this whole cold skull, emotionless character thing, which by the way, I don't like as a, I don't get it. It just sucks everything out of it. So I'm going to go a 3. You can't be emotionless as a dad. You gotta have some love going right there. And, if you're going to do that, 3 for me.
I'm with you on that. I'd probably go 3. I can envision, he's a himbo. He doesn't have it all together. I can envision him being at a department store with one of his kids, and then they wander off, and he just starts looking at Armani shoes, and then just gets distracted and leaves them all and forgets his child there.
Yeah.
Not great on the dad scale. Well, Tetsuya Naito as a dad.
Oh, that's a good one. Honestly, Naito as a dad. I'm going to give him an 8. I think he's a step above Sonata in the sense that he's got that cool factor, very chill. He's that chill dad that you want to hang out with and be like, yeah, this is totally cool. But at the same time, your dad will mean business when he has to, but he's chill when he needs to be. And, he's not going to be overly crazy or over the top unless he has to be. And so I give Naito about an 8.
I like that. Quick story, hopefully, about Naito. So I'm wearing the shirt of when I saw Naito in Chicago 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
He did a small show at AAW there. And there's a podcast called Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling, Marty DeRosa and Sarah Shockey. Yeah. And they told the story because they live there, and Marty did the ring announcing for AAW. So they told the story that they knew the guy who drove Naito to and from the hotel. And when the guy dropped Naito off at the hotel that night, Naito is politely making conversation, are there many local pizza houses here or something like that? He said pizza house, which is good.
Nice.
And but when the guy dropped Naito off at the hotel, so picture the little drive up thing, and he drops Naito off, and Naito says thank you and stood there waving, and the guy kind of tries to drive out but has to wait to turn right, and the entire time he's sitting there waiting to turn right, Naito's just waving and smiling at him. Didn't go in the hotel, didn't walk away, just stood there just waving and just bye. Just wonderful. That told me that Tetsuya Naito has a wonderful soul. And so I'm going 10 out of 10 for Tetsuya Naito as a dad.
All right.
The match itself was fine.
And this is the one match I'm pissed about. I really feel like Suzuki and Taka. I mean, again, I'm not a Sonata fan, so you bring Taka back. I really wanted to see this be a win for them. Granted, I'm sure they'll get one down the road. Suzuki. So Suzuki's apparently. So this is what Lance was telling me. because Suzuki was here for a while and stayed with Lance. Apparently, his whole time in the United States was his vacation.
Okay.
The crazy motherfucker was here on vacation doing death matches and wrestling matches and all kinds of. That was his vacation.
Wow.
Elliot, I don't know about you, but if I'm taking a vacation, I'm not taking bumps and rings and like wrestling every other weekend. For that. I mean, that was his vacation. I'm like,
well, also to be fair, it was a money-making vacation because that guy did just fine.
Oh yeah, he did.
But that's amazing. Good for him.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of excited to see Taka back. It's cool to see him here with Suzuki, and having a second. I like that they have a second Suzuki-gun team in here, and I really wanted to see this come out differently. But in the end, I'm not a huge LIJ Naito Sonata fan. I don't understand the LIJ function and squad because I thought they were supposed to be heels, but they're not quite heel. I mean, at least I understand what Suzuki doing, what they are.
Sure,
it's clear from day one for me. So, and of course, I'm a Suzuki fan. I love Suzuki. I think he's great, and so I wanted to see a win for him. But and this is one where I thought could be in a good surprise start win to really shake up the tag league a little bit. Let this one kind of be a one that gets by Naito and Sonata, and then they work their way back up. And been a fun way to do it. But I don't get the book, so I don't get to make that choice. But
yes,
of course, Taka is obviously here to be the pin eater. He takes the skull in to tap out.
Yeah, which no one taps out to, so that tells you how they feel about Taka.
Right. Granted, I feel like they were almost forced to have him come back because they needed somebody. They wanted another Suzuki-gun team. Suzuki wanted to wrestle, and so it's like, all right, well, we don't have anybody else in your group, so how about we just get Taka back? All right,
bring that guy in. Oh well.
Anyway.
Well, moving on to other problematic people, but also some very non-problematic people who we will like very much. So we had Dangerous Techers defeating the team of Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens. Mm-hmm. Chase, I'm just going to, again, kick this one off like I did the last match. Chase Owens, no thank you as a person.
That's hard for me.
Yeah.
I've met Chase. I know he's a dad.
Oh, okay.
No, everything I've personally met him. He's a good dude. We've talked on Twitter a while back. I said some pretty shitty things about him, about being out of shape or whatever, and on all that. And then we messaged and we talked, and I was like, yeah, but I was, I didn't understand. I was a shitty wrestling fan. I didn't have a right to say that about you. But now that I know people and stuff like that who are in the ring, I have a respect for everybody. And that was, wrong. I straight up apologize. It's like, that was not fair of me to say that about you. You're doing this. You're doing New Japan. You're doing your thing. And, he's like, look, all good, man. We're good. I just want to say, so we're friends on Facebook. We're all kinds of stuff. And so having met the guy personally, knowing he's a dad, he's got 2 kids, moved from Virginia to Texas for the betterment of his family. He's been in Japan for the entire time. He came over for 1 week in between G1 and World Tag League, and he's doing it all to make money for his family. As much as people want to cancel him, I can't see that because I've seen the man. I've seen the person. I've seen the character of the guy. It's hard to, some of the things that they say about him, it's hard to see. I'm not saying they can't be real. I'm not saying that, pastors have done, I've done church ministry for 20 years. I know that the pastors can be just as big a shithead as, regular people. I just find it very, very hard, having spent time with him, having talked to him, having seen how he is with his family, for me to go, well, I'm going to cancel him because.
Yeah. And I think that's important to hear, though, because I think we do get in a certain mindset with talking about people that way, where there are accusations that seem quite credible. But yeah, to also, it is a real person behind those accusations, or those accusations being made to. So thank you for bringing that perspective. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, so knowing Chase as a real dad, I got to give him a 10.
There
as
you
a
go.
real dad. I mean, the fact that he's
being away from kids is the worst. So
Yeah, I
having
mean,
to do that for a long amount of time. Yeah.
right. I mean, he posted a picture on Facebook the other day of how he had to Zoom watch his kid's birthday, and but there's a reason why he's doing it. They're paying, New Japan's paying him well to do it, and he's proven a loyal soldier for them. So, that's why I'm like, you know what? In real life, Dad, he's a 10 for sure. To take time out away from his family, to do what is best for them, to raise money for them, and then to come to places like Texas, and because it was better for your family, and to make that move. It's a big move to go from Virginia to Texas, and he's down in San Antonio area, running a wrestling school and being a part of stuff down there. So I tip my hat to him for that, and I mean, I'm not saying that because he moved to Texas and now he's a Texan and all that fun stuff. I'm saying that because I've seen his progress, and the fact that he called me out on my shit and didn't say like, fuck you, and I'm blocking you forever. He said, he let me explain and said, okay, we're all good, man.
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. Not many wrestlers would do that.
Yeah, no, most would tell you, fuck you, and block you off. And he didn't, because I had said, hey, I appreciate, what you do, really enjoyed your time with me. Thank you again for, you got to meet you at VIP, and showed him a picture of him with my son, saying thanks for your time there. And he said, hey, by the way, was this you? And I was like, I don't remember saying that, but like, and he found it and he called me out on it. And I'm like,
wow.
And I'm like, yeah, no, that wasn't, I said, yeah, no, I said, that was a while back. I was a pretty shitty wrestling fan, and I thought that's what you did. But, I said, I'm sorry for that. That's not appropriate. And then now that I've known people that are in wrestling, and he's like, okay, no, we're good. That was it, nothing else. And he was totally cool.
That's quite a situation. Huh?
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, moving on to a guy who I think would tell you "fuck you" would be Bad Luck Fale.
Yes.
So I'd probably go, but I think I've listened to him on Tama's podcast once or twice. Seems decent. Seems like an all right guy. I'd go about a 6 as a dad. He probably doesn't say much, doesn't move much, but I bet he's there for his kids when they need.
Yeah, I am going to go 7. So on one of my podcasts, I had a local guy here named Cruz who trained at the Fale Dojo. He's wrestling here in Texas. He trained in New Zealand for a while, and talked about being a part of Fale's dojo and how Fale treats everybody, and very dad-like. So I got to give him a 7 because again, it's more of a real life factor. Through another person hearing how he treats people. Very dad-like and very good. So I'm going to go 7 on that one.
Good. I'm with you on that. Taichi as a dad.
This is tough. I like Taichi as a person. I think as a dad, though, I got to give him a 5. I feel like, again, it's one of those things where like, it's not as low as Tokyo Pimp, with the, the character and everything along those lines. But at the same time, too, the whole pants, ripping off your pants thing and showing that really tiny trunk. Again, of course, that's the moment your parents would walk in when that moment happens, right? That's the kind of thing you deal with. So I got to give him a 5. It's just, it's not all there for me. So
okay. Well, I'm looking at, and I didn't know if he and Miho Abe are in a relationship, but it looks like Wikipedia at least says married to retired professional wrestler Ofune. Okay. And they have 2 children together.
Okay.
So, maybe I'll go 6. I think he can be a dad when necessary.
Right.
But he's just got to get that mic out of his hand and get down to business.
Yeah.
And then what about Zach, our friend Zach Sabre Jr.?
Oh, Zach. I gotta give him a 3. I don't think he's anywhere near being a dad. And I mean, I just think, he plays that heel character so well that, man, it's hard to wonder sometimes if he's not like that in real life. And boy, that would be a pretty shitty dad to have. So I got to give him a 3.
Well, Zach is one of the, on this card is the only wrestler who I've actually met in person. Zach, a friend of mine is a pro wrestling photographer and got me backstage at a few of these AAW shows. So I met Zach the night that he wrestled Kyle O'Reilly, right before Kyle O'Reilly went up to NXT. But Zach was very nice. I was wearing a shirt of the band Modern Life is War, and Zach complimented my shirt. because he knows the band. And then we were in the bathroom together and like peeing in stalls, and we struck up a conversation about how we're both pee shy at urinals. And he was very nice and welcoming and super great. So I love Zach forever for that. We were comfortable sharing our pee shyness with each other.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm gonna go about a 7. I think whenever Zach decides to make that life change, he's going to approach fatherhood with the same seriousness that he gives to veganism and socialism.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I'll give that to you. Now, this is the main event of the night. So, how do you feel about this one? How did they end the night with this? With I believe Zach and Taichi win by pinfall with a super kick Zach driver combination for the win. So, hey, one of Suzuki Gun's teams wins. All right, way to go. But how did you feel this match went overall for a main event?
I thought it was good. I think that Zach and Taichi are two of the best wrestlers in this tournament who are suited to make Fale look good. Because I don't know, I'm not great at comparing like if a guy has gotten bigger or smaller or whatever, but Fale seems to be about the same as what he was, which is, moving slower, not going to be as agile, but still a great presence in the ring. And I thought Zach and Taichi did a great job bumping around for him and, running around him and doing everything they could to make him an essential part of the match. But, toward the end, when it got into the kind of main event tag sprint part of the match, I don't remember Fale being involved in very much of that. I think he was just kind of laying down somewhere, and Zach and Taichi and Chase were doing the bulk of the work. Right. And it was I thought it was a good ending. A good hot little 2-minute stretch there. Chase absolutely held his end up for his team, and I thought it was a good. If we were gonna do snowflakes, I don't know, a 3 1/4, 3 1/2, maybe something like that.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Now is the best time to start working at Amazon. They're offering sign-on bonuses up to $3,000 and hourly pay up to $22 per hour. You'll bring home a great weekly paycheck, and many jobs come with benefits that start on your first day. That's higher pay, sign-on bonuses, benefits day one. And you'll be part of a safe and inclusive workplace ranked among the best in the world. Go to amazon.com/apply to start your job search today. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Yeah, that's about what I get. I would say overall, that's about what this night was, about a 3, overall it was there. It was night 2. You're not expecting any big changes in the standings. You're not expecting anything, nothing outlandish or over the top happened. It was just night 2. So, but that doesn't mean the wrestling in the ring wasn't good. It was just, there was nothing of significance to talk about, really. It was everything went as we thought it was going to be for the night. So we know that we're going to see changes down the road. Stuff will happen differently. That's just the luck of the draw of night 2 is you're seeing what you're seeing, but you're seeing some of your front runners already. We see GOD out there up front already. We see, I mean, it's very easy to see that it's going to be GOD and Dangerous Techers, at the end. I don't see how you can say that anybody else is going to be on par.
I think Okan and Hanare are the only other team that have a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. And I mean, I would be okay with that. I would be okay if it would be like Okan and Hanare versus either one of those teams in the finals, for the World Tag League Championship. I think that would be great. You have someone, who's known versus someone fresh. I'm good with that. I agree. I think that could be your wild card is Okan and Hanare. Other than that, this is just a Techers God, showcase, really, because none of these other teams are going to do anything to upset the balance. I can't see anybody, like you said, other than who we've already talked about.
No, that's it. That's absolutely it. So, I think we're just going to have to hop in if we hear there were good matches. I heard that the one that wasn't Suzuki-gun versus Suzuki-gun on night one.
I think so. I
think, and I heard that was good. I heard they beat the crap out of Taka and
right, yeah.
So I'll probably check that one out. But yeah, if anybody hears of any really good World Tag League matches, make sure to put it out there, because if I don't hear about them, I will not find the time for them. And that's it. So, all right. Well, I think we should wrap up our night 2 recap here, John. Mm-hmm. This has been excellent. And Joel also was so grateful to offer us to plug anything here at the end. So if you want to go ahead there with your plugs, John.
I think I have other podcasts I do, but I'm going to forego those to just plug our agency that I work for here. For those of you who don't know, I work for a nonprofit agency here in Weatherford, Texas. So rural Texas, that helps victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, family violence, things along those lines. Which our county was 40th out of all 240 states for domestic violence in 2020. We've seen a 25% increase over 2020 to 2021 with COVID and everything in that kind of area. It's a very serious thing. As our sheriff, who's the president of our board, said the other night at a fundraiser, he goes, "It's an unfortunate thing we exist, but it's a good thing we do, because we're able to help so many people." And then here's the sad part. Like, we know that for over 400 cases of domestic violence last year, but we as an agency only saw about 150 people. So obviously we're wanting to bridge that gap, or that disconnect of people who need to begin their healing journey to do that. So whether your case is, and that's the great thing about our agency, is whether your case is from 5 years ago and you can't prosecute, you can come in and we can get you help. Or it's your case was last week and you need help. We help anybody who comes in free of charge. We have advocates who will walk you through your healing journey. We have therapists who will help you deal with the trauma that you experienced. And we have all kinds of resources to help you with what you need on that. So my job is social media manager. So I use my time sometimes on these to talk more about the importance of understanding domestic violence and sexual assault, and how there are very big pandemics going on in this country, and that we need to have agencies like ours. Support your local agency. Find out there's an agency in your area. I know there is. So go find out what that is, how you can maybe help support them in some way, shape, or form. Or if you just want to help ours, you can always find us at freedomhousepc.org. And that is our website to see what we're doing in Parker County here in rural Texas to help everybody there. I also run the teen program, which helps kids in general to have a safe space to talk about things that they're struggling with. And we're also starting an LGBTQ plus support group for kids in rural Texas to be who they are, which if you know anything about Texas is very conservative. And so having a space like that is big for some of these kids, especially in rural Texas. So we're starting that in January. And so to be able to have a safe space for kids to come, talk, be who they are, know that if they come talk to me as an advocate, I have privilege, meaning here in the state of Texas, anybody, parent says, "What did my kid tell you?" I can go, "Sorry, I can't tell you." And so that's the cool part, is we can really help provide a safe space for kids and help save their lives, because they can at least come and be themselves and know that there's someone here who's going to love them regardless of how they present themselves. We don't care. We're just here for you. And maybe we can help save some lives in that process, especially for our teenagers. So definitely that's what I do. If you want to check us out on Facebook, it's Freedom House of Parker County. We're on Instagram. Same thing. You just type in Freedom House TX and we'll come up. Crossroads is the name of the program. Same thing. You'll type in Crossroads Youth Program and you'll find us on Facebook. and Instagram there as well. Facebook's for the parents, Instagram's for the teens. So we're trying to reach everybody that way. And I'm sure you know, Elliot, kids like Instagram more than they do. Now they're like a TikTok more than anything
It's
else.
just TikTok. Yep.
It's just TikTok, but so that's what I'm going to use my plugs as to do that. And just, find, if nothing else, support your local agency. There's one there. I'm not going to let you think that it doesn't happen anywhere. It happens everywhere. Big cities, small towns, middle of nowhere America. There is some sort of domestic violence or sexual assault that happens on a regular basis in the United States in some way, shape, or form. Support your local agency so that victims can become survivors and become and have a healing journey that they can be proud of and share and bring more awareness to other people. So that's what I'm using my time for. Elliot, what do you got?
Well, I wish we would have closed with that because I can't even approach that. But yeah, thank you. That was amazing, John. I would plug. I have a band that I was in for a very, very long time. We put out finally a record that we recorded in 2015, but didn't put out until just this last April. And the record is called Lead You to the Dark, and my band was called Tyborn Jig. So tybornjig.bandcamp.com. That's tybornjig.bandcamp.com. Pay what you want, just listen to it. We were just a weird kind of loud rock and roll indie punk hardcore band, and so maybe you'll find a little bit something like there. And then I would also like to plug, kind of close to the lines of what you're talking about, DSM Mutual Aid, Des Moines Mutual Aid. They are a group that I've donated to in town here. They help people who are struggling with issues of houselessness, people struggling with domestic violence, people who just need help with diapers, need help with supplies, anything. So on Instagram, that's dsm.mutual.aid. And all the info is there on just helping some people in need. They're a great organization that, a little bit more on the lefty side of politics. Hopefully that doesn't dissuade you from doing that. But yeah. That's all I want to plug. Other than that, just plug in the Super J Cast for being amazing and having us on here. And I'm really excited to hear everybody else's contributions to it. I still haven't even listened to the episode that just went up this week with who were the Booze Leprechaun and hold on, I'll have it.
Fake Joel.
Okay, yes. So I'm excited to hear that too. So exciting time to be a Super J Cast fan. Yes. And of course, we can't wait until Joel and Damon get back to having to deal with the two tournaments that are going on right now. Through all that.
Yeah. I saw that picture that David posted of his legs in like Mexico. And
did he? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
I don't know if it was on Twitter or Instagram. Oh, it was Instagram. That's where it was.
I don't follow him on Instagram.
See, I got the secret hookup on Instagram with Uncle Damon there, and I saw his pictures and his legs in Mexico. I gotta say, boy, you can tell he's from the north, man. Those are some white legs. Yow, brother. Those are
Sorry,
some
Damon.
legs.
Sorry,
Damon. Get some. I love you, man, but get some color on those legs while you're down there, bro. Good Lord. Woo.
We'll see what we can do. All right. Well. Thank you everybody for listening to us talk. This has been a real pleasure, and take care, be safe, and enjoy the World Tag League. We know you all totally will.
Totally, all the way. All right. Elliot, it was great talking to you as well. I didn't get to say that, but thank you. This was a ton of fun. I enjoyed it. And so I think with that, we're going to return you back to your regularly scheduled programming of the Super J Cast as we close the Super Dad Cast for 2021. And y'all have a great rest of the year.
Hello, listeners of the Super J Cast. My name is Mike McGinnis.
And my name is Tracy Ray Bowling.
We are two people who are somewhere in the middle of a very long podcast episode that you're listening to. And we're glad to be here.
Welcome to us.
Thank you for inviting us into your home. We have been fans of New Japan for not that long by comparison to, I'm guessing, a lot of listeners and a lot of folks who are also doing guest spots here. We started watching during the 2018 G1. And we started, I think, because we had a lot of friends who were tweeting at the time about WWE for some reason. Like, it was having a weirdly good year for people tweeting about shit. I did not immediately get the appeal. I think a lot of the things about that tournament really made it confusing for me, like what was supposed to be cool about wrestling. And I don't think that I really got it until the Best of the Super Juniors tournament that happened later. Mm-hmm. And I think for us, the BOSJ tournament, as we call it in our home, has always been a little bit friendlier.
The matches are shorter. The characters are often more distinct, and they're more different from each other.
That said, obviously we are 3 nights in to the Best of the Super Juniors tournament this year. Just like overall thoughts so far, when this lineup came out, I think everybody was, one, if you were paying attention, you weren't surprised. This was, of course, exactly who was going to be in this tournament, unless you thought that they were somehow going to get a bunch of the folks from Strong over or something. Like, right. This was who we were going to have. But it was a more exciting lineup than last year, but it was still very dry, right? And I think that
a lot of these matchups have been thoroughly explored at this point.
And three nights in, I do think that it has been a bit dry, but I also think that they've actually done a better job of, like, my question going into this was, could they make me care about anyone other than Despy and Hiromu? Not even because I don't like the other wrestlers, but because I feel like in the booking, obviously, with the junior division, they kind of keep forgetting to build anybody up except for Hiromu and then maybe whoever happens to have the belt in that moment. So, like, I do feel like the lineup is a little bit dry and there aren't a lot of, like, super interesting stories going on, but at the same time, they do have pretty clean, fast matches that are, I think, doing a pretty decent job of building each wrestler up. I actually don't feel like it's the Hiromu and Despy show right now, and I'm happy about that. We could start with what I think was, until this most recent night, the most exciting story in all of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Doki's undefeated streak. We were all wondering, he had won 100% of his Best of the Super Juniors matches. Could he continue this streak of perfection?
And not only him, but Kanemaru. Could Kanemaru likewise continue his undefeated streak? And would Yo continue his streak of not winning a match? One of those streaks continued, and the other two did not.
Yeah, I mean, when you saw Doki versus ELP as the opening match, I don't think anyone was expecting anything different from what we got. Of course, the undefeated streak ended. It would have been beautiful if he had just run the table. It would have been confusing and a good example of them committing to a bit. I can't really say committing to a push. Yeah. At that point, they'd just be playing with us.
Although I will say, I thought that match was really good.
Yeah.
Like, better than it had any right to be. I have been getting more into Doki. I think that they have done a little mini Doki push. It maybe hasn't been the best advertised or anything. Right. He hasn't won anything because of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, when Doki came in a couple tournaments ago as a pinch hitter for Despy, my immediate gut reaction was, who is this budget Sub-Zero and why is he in my wrestling show? And I still think, like, as he's beloved and he's a really fun guy. And I think that his match with Hiromu earlier was so awesome that he kind of forced them to give him some good stuff as a result, right? Like, I think that they know he's pretty good, but I think also that I do think this sort of weird little stunted mini push is the most he's going to get if he doesn't start to... He needs to freshen up his moveset a little bit, and I think he is moving that direction. The way he's been finishing matches with the really cool suplexes and the weird, like... I don't even know how to describe the suplex thing that he did to ELP.
Yeah, it was just like hyper flexible.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and like that's the sort of thing that he needs to be doing more of, and less of the thing where he kind of puts his ankles against your throat and then pins himself, and it's a submission.
Yeah.
The Doki Choki.
Yes.
The weird split stuff that kind of works. Like if he drops some of that weirder offense that doesn't really look like anything, I think he could continue to get pushed a little more. But I do think that there is a weirdness about him that goes beyond the grunginess that makes him fun and just speaks to, like, I don't know, some specific ideas about his character that are like never going to get they're never going to make sense outside of his head, I don't think.
He just looked really athletic, and he kept the energy high, and it worked well with ELP's general movement for this Super Juniors, which has been, he's kind of teasing still the shenanigans that maybe he has a loaded boot. He's teasing that idea, but he's also, that's yet to actually happen. So he's doing pretty straightforward, honest matches, and Doki played well with that.
I think that as annoying as the House of Torture stuff is, we're seeing again, like we did in the G1, how because Sho is going to be the obnoxious, interference-heavy shithead heel, now ELP can just be kind of a prick.
Yeah.
And as a result, I really enjoyed his tournament. I so far, his match with Kanemaru the previous night is actually, I think, still my favorite match of the tournament. So the next match, Bushi defeats Yo in 10 minutes, 32 seconds with the Bushi roll.
I didn't know that had a name. To be honest,
it is a special sushi roll that Bushi does, where he just kind of beats you.
Yeah. It was a little out of nowhere. It was a decently even-handed match in terms of just blow for blow, but it just kept seeming like Bushi was anticipating a lot of what Yo was throwing out there, and eventually that caught up with him. I'm very sad. I'm very sad about Yo's arc, because it just seemed like, it seemed so obvious that the play with him would be to play up his rivalry, his pretty new rivalry with Sho, that, it would build up to, the tournament would be building up in some way to his match with Sho on the last night, and that match would matter. And I'm sure it will still matter, but it feels very much like, I don't know where Yo can go from here. I don't know how he can salvage a tournament from this, and I guess he just won't be. is my best guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, when they released the lineups, and on the last night, of course, we don't know the order, but you see Sho against Yo last night of the tournament before they do the final, and everybody immediately jumped to the same thought, which is clearly Yo is spoiling Sho so that Sho can't get into the finals. He's going to seem inevitable until that moment. It's the same thing as when they put Sonata and Evil against each other on the last night after they break up. Of course, there's going to be that moment of revenge. And if I had to lay down a bet, I suppose I would still bet on that. But I did think that they would build Yo up a little bit on the way there, that they would make him credible. And he keeps coming out and having a match where it looks like he could theoretically win, and then he just doesn't, right? And against Hiromu is that really fun, sprint where, they were both trying to pin each other left and right, and then Hiromu just happened to get it. This time, it really felt like Yo should be able to figure out a way to win, and then he just didn't. And so what it feels like now we're going to get is a second tournament in a row of just a series of men cucking Yo, brutally humiliating him in front of the crowd. And then, he only wins one match, and it's against Sho? Right. Is that where this is going?
That's the thing, right?
That sucks.
That doesn't make sense to me, even just to say that's a spoiler. If that's the only match he wins, or one of three, what does that mean?
Well, and then is the idea that
it just feels like you're burying him forever.
Yeah. No, you can't have him lose two entire tournaments in a row, and then he wins one match at the end of it with Sho, and we call it I was saying this to you before, it feels very WWE to me, where they just keep having the face lose and lose and lose, and then you're supposed to get excited the one time they win and be well, that proves something.
Yeah. And we've seen faces come back from pretty insurmountable odds. It feels like there's always the possibility for kind of an Ibushi storyline where he starts out bizarrely weak, where you're like, how on earth did who beat him?
Yujiro.
How did Yujiro get one over on Ibushi? This is difficult to believe.
Yeah.
But then he makes a comeback one way or another, but that does not feel very possible here.
Well, and they do that with their strongest guys, right? You do that with Ibushi, you do that with Naito, and like it's bullshit, but we all kind of recognize it for what it is.
Right.
You can't, I don't feel like you can do that to a guy who has been buried for the last year.
Well, and who has been gone, right?
Yeah. He was injured, he came back, he seemed for 5 seconds like he might be something, and then they said no.
Yeah.
He is in fact nothing.
His backstage commentary suggests that he, if anything, is ecstatic as a result of these losses, feels that he's figured something out and that he's now at a crossroads. Yeah. So yeah, he thinks he's going somewhere good.
I'm going to check what his next match is real quick. So his next match is against Taguchi.
Uh-huh. I think he'll pull that out, but I don't know what it means.
Well, like...
if he does.
Yeah, it doesn't really...
Am I supposed to be happy for him? Am I supposed to be impressed?
No, I fucking hope not. I mean, obviously, beating Taguchi means something, but, like, usually the way that you do it involves, like, putting your hand in his ass or something. Like,
right.
It's not going to feel impressive no matter what. And if he loses, which, like, at this point, I kind of got to put odds on him losing one or two more at least, it's going to be miserable. After that, he's up against Robbie Eagles. I don't think he's beating Robbie Eagles the way things have been going. I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah. It feels possible. That could be his first match. Maybe he'll learn something essential from the loss to Taguchi.
Suddenly he starts using his ass.
Yes. Maybe that's been the key this entire time. Taguchi versus Sho, speaking of which.
Yep.
So Taguchi comes out in this match with a headlamp instead of his traditional crown. He was so worried about the appearance of Evil, Dick Togo, and Yujiro that he needed the headlamp in case somebody turned out the lights.
Yeah, I guess that's the theory of it. I was interested in the idea that the young lion was going to help him spot them in that moment.
Yes.
It didn't work out that way.
And that was kind of how... in theory, how Taguchi lost was that he was so busy looking for those three to interfere that he missed Sho grabbing a wrench, failing to do anything with the wrench, then getting a dick kick in.
And then I think he did hit him with the wrench after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he failed.
I think he got it in there. But yeah, I mean, I did enjoy that this was a variation on what has been the formula of the show matches so far. Now, is this because Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil were too busy to show up and interfere in the Nagano Athletic Park Gymnasium? Kind of feels that way. I honestly wondered if they were like, you know what, this is a smaller show.
Yeah.
We're not all going to come out and bother. But if so, I appreciate the respite.
This is one of my favorite venues because you can always see people in the upper decks just kind of walking back and forth to the bathroom.
Yeah, just milling around.
Yeah, sometimes they're like calming a baby. It's a very good venue, poorly lit.
Yeah,
and it seemed poorly staffed. I don't know if you want to talk about the quality of the video.
Yeah, I meant to talk about the production up front actually, and I just sort of spaced on it. I have found that I really like the shows in these sorts of venues where they don't even have Japanese commentary and we're getting the VOD after the fact. There's something for me really soothing about the sort of silent wrestling, which is like, I know that's like the big tragedy of wrestling right now, right? In New Japan especially, is that the matches are all quieter than they should be. Mm-hmm. But something about having the barrier of the commentary removed and just sort of communing with the wrestling, just getting to experience it for myself without their help is nice. The camera work was not ideal.
No.
They have 3, I think, cameras. They got sort of hard cam situation. They got a couple of guys wandering around at ringside, one of whom appears to just believe that you should always shoot things sort of cocked at an angle.
Yes.
You should never just have it straight on.
I don't know if that's an artistic choice or just, he didn't seem to be looking through the eyepiece.
No, he did not. That was honestly my best guess, is he did not seem to actually be looking through the camera. He was just pointing it at the action and trusting that things would work out. Perhaps that's how the professionals do it. I don't know. But they all those cameras had very different relationships to things like light.
Yes.
And pixels.
Yeah.
Just different numbers and kinds of pixels.
So sometimes they would switch cameras and it would just be like you were in a different place entirely.
Yeah. It felt like we were exploring 3 very similar alternate universes that were like all the matches happening in those universes were very similar, very closely related, but they were a little bit different. And the other thing, I couldn't tell if like the sound felt different because it was just like because the quality of the video was like confusing me, or if like they were actually switching to like, okay, the microphone that is glued to camera 2 is now the one that we're hearing sound through. Do you think it was that?
I think they might have, just been using camera sound.
Yeah, just like whichever camera happened to get that part of the edit, that was the sound you were hearing. Because like, I swear it was worse and better in different spots.
Yeah, even the microphone at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Or actually, the microphone was used to powerful effect in this very match, in the Taguchi versus Sho match, where Taguchi got Sho out of the ring, and in retaliation for Sho earlier pulling him out of the ring and chopping his chest in time with the count out, Taguchi spanked Sho in time with the count out,
right into the
amplified by the mic.
I enjoyed the spanks.
Yeah, I did too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, the match overall was pretty good. I think like I like Sho as a heel. I think that he actually has improved in a lot of ways as a result of this. The character is very funny to me. The faces that he makes are, of course, interesting in many situations, hard to read, hard to make sense of.
They've always been funny.
Yeah, he's got kind of a funny way about him.
Yeah, he's a funny little guy.
But like the weird laconic energy, the like mixture of malice, laziness. He's not quite cowardly the way that like Jay White will play up the cowardly angle sometimes early in a match. Like, I don't want to really wrestle.
Right.
And Sho's almost like, I can't be bothered to wrestle.
I would call him disdainful.
Yeah.
You know, I think he decided as part of this character that he's only going to care about certain matches, and he's definitely not going to care about a Taguchi match.
No. He's like, can you believe I even have to fight this guy? Mm-hmm. And I think that's all good. I think obviously the endings of his matches have sucked. This has been better. But like, I enjoy his shithead heel work. Mm-hmm. The ref bump at the end of this was annoying.
Yeah.
But, you know, as these went, it was pretty harmless. And if he moved more in this direction with less, like, you have to wait 10 minutes for Dick Togo to come out and slowly strangle a man.
I am very hopeful that there are more in this style. I don't mind if he, you know, kicks a guy in the neck or whatever, stomps a guy in the ribs.
That's fine.
That's fine. That's just mean. That's normal mean. But yeah, less Dick Togo, the better.
Do you think he's going to the final? I was looking at who he has left to beat, and he's kind of done most of his big matches.
Yeah.
He beat Hiromu. He beat Despy.
I imagine he'll have an embarrassing upset somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Somebody will get him. Yeah, well, somebody will get him counted out.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Kanemaru will probably do a trick to him.
Yeah.
He'll lose to ELP maybe, but I just feel like he hasn't got that many matches he's going to lose left, and I feel like we could have him in the final, and if we have him in the final, it's going to be maximum Dick Togo.
Yeah.
The next match, Taiji Ishimori defeats Robbie Eagles in 13 minutes, 26 seconds with the Bone Lock. This match was fine.
It was fine. Eagles did a lot of taunting. It felt like more than he had been doing. It felt directed at Ishimori. He was kind of teasing him for losing the tag belts. And Ishimori, as he said in the backstage comments later, feels that this proves that he doesn't have anything to worry about there. He can get him back whenever he wants them. So yeah, Ishimori approached this match pretty seriously. Felt like Eagles was being a little whimsical with it, and that didn't work out so well for him.
Yeah. Honestly, brief complaints. I hate Robbie Eagles' gear.
Yeah.
I've always hated his gear. It's looked like shit to me from the first time I saw him. It hasn't improved much over time. And currently, it's the same bad stuff it's been for years, but the colors are horrible.
No, he has primary red, blue, and yellow right now. And
it just looks like he's made of Legos. And then he has the skunk hair now with the yellow and the black halves.
And there was some meaning to that
he said the bandanas were...
Yeah, they're an homage to his trainers, which is fine, but yeah, I don't know.
They're horrible looking. I'm trying not to. I try not to turn against him because of shit like that. Because he's a good wrestler.
Right.
They both did a good job, but I have a little bit of trouble these days getting invested in either one. Honestly, Robbie is never really connected for me, and Ishimori just this was a relatively high effort Ishimori. There weren't any 3-minute headlocks.
No, I agree. I think Ishimori sort of brought his best self to this match. He's been looking a little stiff. To me.
Oh yeah. He's got the bodybuilder stiffness going on. It feels like, plus the normal wrestler wear and tear.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the speed and agility that he used to. But yeah, he brought his A game to this match. Robbie was kind of flipping everywhere as he does. It is impressive. I mean, he did like a weird flipping tope at one point onto Ishimori on the ramp, and it looked awesome.
It looked very cool.
He just kind of rolled out of it as if it was nothing. It was pretty neat, and yet I didn't have a strong pull in this match.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was just two guys who are good, who know each other pretty well, doing some good reversals and having a solid wrestling match. Two small, angry men bouncing off each other.
I do want to say also that Ishimori has, in this Best of the Super Juniors, gotten his hair game a little more figured out. He had the weird clip-on rat tail for a little while.
It was a blonde rat tail extension.
Yeah.
It was the strangest thing.
It looked like he found it on the floor at a rave or something.
Just stuck it in there with some gum. Every match, it was like, it still hasn't come out.
Yeah.
You'd think at some point it would just fly off. But yeah, he's now just sort of grown out. It always felt to me like he was saying, this is the hair that I sort of meant to have by this point. And I sort of messed up when I was talking to the hairdresser.
Aww.
And now we actually have what he was going for. And I understand his vision for his hair. Mm-hmm. It is better than what it was before. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, no, good job, Ishimori. Fifth match was Hiromu defeating Yoshinobu Kanemaru in 14 minutes, 24 seconds with a roll-up. I looked online. I was like, hey, internet, do people like this match? And the internet said, yeah, this match is pretty well liked. And I said...
Why, though?
Yeah, all right, why? And then we rewatched it because it was bothering me. Because I felt like, did I just miss the match last night when we were watching it? It's like, no, it really did begin with an interminable sequence of Kanemaru working Hiromu's knee. Mm-hmm. Hiromu just kind of screaming in the way that he does whenever anything happens to him. And eventually, Hiromu won. And that was the match. And that's my least favorite style of match, is guy bullies face.
The body part.
Yeah, targets the body part, and then at some point the face just wins. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, oops, I stopped being dominated by you.
Yeah. No, after the interminable knee torture scene, there was a fairly long sequence, like middle sequence of somewhat even-handed exchanges, just some lariats, and they did a lot of trading of power slams and stuff. And they were all fine. Yeah. I don't know, they were all fine. I enjoy watching Kanemaru because I think that he's better than gets played up. And yeah, so they just kind of countered each other for 6 or 7 minutes, and then Hiromu got the roll up.
Yeah, Kanemaru goes for the moonsault. Hiromu gets the knees up, rolls up Kanemaru. I do think that this is sort of a classic example of like a leg match where it doesn't matter that it was a leg match. When Hiromu got things going, it was frequently like, okay, and now I run the ropes, and I jump up and I do the head scissors on you, and it kept being. Like he would get that offense and then we would go back to working his knee, and then he wins the match by getting his knees up.
Yeah.
And really, like, it just, none of that really adds up to anything to me.
No, that's the thing. That's what I wondered. I wondered if I had missed that about the match, because I thought, how did he kind of get the upper edge on Kanemaru was it because he sort of switched to more of a ground game and used the knee less? And when we went back, it was just like, no, not really.
He either hobbled around on it or he ran on it, but he did not stop using it.
He lifted him. You know, he definitely used it as a major part of his offense. In the backstage commentary afterward, Hiromu makes a big point of this, and he made a big point of it when he was in the ring too. If you kind of read the pantomime, he was going to say like, "Hey, I've got brains. I figured you out.
I'm not just a wild man who comes out here and throws my safety to the wind.
I will run on my damaged knee all night long, and then I will do a very basic defensive move to stop you." And that's the thing. Like, I thought I must have missed something where he really figured Kanemaru out, and I just don't think he did. I think he used his knee pretty freely throughout, and then he happened to get the roll up, and it was fine. Like, they both did a good match. I'm not saying they didn't wrestle well. It was just kind of a weird structure.
Yeah. No, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. And if the idea was to show that Hiromu is becoming a wilier wrestler, I don't think I saw any real evidence of that.
No,
except the thing at the end, which again, like you're saying, people do that all the time.
Yeah.
That is a really established way for that spot to go.
Right. Getting the knees up in time does not make me think, oh, what a clever person.
Yeah, no, it's just like, oh, I guess he woke up in time to do the thing that happens 50% of the time.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny that Hiromu did explicitly acknowledge the thing that we were talking about earlier, where it's like, are we going to make anybody but Hiromu and Despi matter in this tournament? Because Hiromu's stance is no, we will not. Everybody else is going to have to get on his level, because otherwise he and Despi are just going to run away with it, and people need to watch out for that. Which I do kind of appreciate them talking about that. You know, like last time they had that running story about how Ishimori was the champion, and yet Hiromu was getting more main events. Ishimori felt that he was being overlooked and that he wasn't getting sufficient credit from the company. This time they have Hiromu. He's the mascot of the tournament. They have him in the beginning clips just kind of running around on the beach like a nerd.
Yeah.
So like
it's
the company
just a promise that Hiromu will be here.
Yeah, like they're definitely making explicit that like, yeah, he's our guy. But I do think that they might also be actually making an effort to build other people up too, which they need to, because it can't be that every year he gets injured early in the year and then we get him back by Wrestle Kingdom and he wins the belt again so he can get injured again next year and start it all over. Like they gotta know they need other stories than that.
No, I think they're well aware, and they are trying actively to build some other people up.
It's because they don't stick with the juniors for long stretches. They have stretches where they're the focus, and then they have stretches where they're just the guys getting pinned in everybody else's matches.
It's funny to me that you need to get Hiromu to say like, hey, care about the other wrestlers too. Because that was what he was really saying. Was, you know, there was kind of the threat there of get on my level. But he was also saying like, surely there's somebody else here that you should pay attention to, and you, the audience, should be looking out for who it is.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead and get invested in those guys.
Because Despi said the same thing. Despi was also talking about how, everybody's talking about how it's going to be me and Hiromu again, but I think other people are worth worth looking at.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he found a meaner way to say it, but...
Yeah. Other thing about this match, though, is it did, you know, so we had the thing afterward, almost felt like an angle where Hiromu was laughing really obnoxiously as Kanemaru leaves the ring. Kanemaru comes back and starts kicking him again. Really beats the shit out of him. I kind of felt like maybe that's the beginning of, I don't know, we'll know by the time this is up, but like maybe Hiromu comes out with some bandages on his leg next week. Or next evening, and that's his excuse for losing some matches.
Yes. It does feel like that may be probably the primary purpose of this being such a knee match.
Yeah. It's funny that you can do that stuff off like, you know, for the average viewer's purposes, this match might as well not have happened. Like, they're not going to see this, so he could just come out to the next match with the bandages on. But their dedication to the craft of professional wrestling is such that we had to watch it.
Exactly.
We had to see this boring match.
It's like the Star Wars prequels. Well, you need to know how it happened.
He can't just come out with a bum leg. You won't be able to figure out why he would have that injury. So we get into our main event, Wado versus Despi. Desperado did, of course, win after 20 minutes, 10 seconds with numero dos. Now, I was surprised when I was looking through the times for this, that this one was 20 minutes long because, the previous match was 14 minutes long. I felt every second of that. I would have guessed 16, maybe more. This one was 20. I didn't think about the time while we were watching it. It just went.
Well, and I mean, it is still fairly short for a New Japan main event as part of that. But no, it was really well put together. Despi main events are always fun. My big question kind of going into tonight was, can Wado hold up a main event match? He still feels a little green, but he did really well. I thought he did really well.
Yeah, no, he's all of his matches in this tournament have been what they needed to be. And that's how I would describe this one too. I think that Desperado comes out of it looking better. I think that's fine because he's the champion and he won and he's a better wrestler. But, Wado did not have too many moments of looking lost.
No.
I do think that is partly that Despi has such a strong presence in the ring that he can distract from that kind of thing pretty easily.
One thing he probably does this regularly, but one thing I noticed, like you said, Wado sometimes has a habit of, it feels like he's waiting for his next move and he's kind of relieved that the last one is over. So that in-between period, he sometimes looks a little like, okay, what next?
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to fill those gaps, whereas Despi is really good at filling those gaps. And I feel like this match and probably other matches, Despi did a really good job of in those when he had those kind of gaps between his big spots, he would do some walking away from the situation before turning back very quickly and going back to town. So you just felt a little unpredictability about Despi in those gaps that I think helped with Wado's occasional lapses.
Yeah, well, that's something that I've, just every year I get a little bit more in tune with Desperado. I learned to watch for certain things a little more closely. Just the way that he'll walk around, like you said, kick some dust off his foot or whatever he's doing.
Right.
He has, they're little animations, right? Is what they are.
Yeah, he's never not doing anything.
Yeah,
and I had a strong sense. I'm a big Ibushi fan, so I see Ibushi in New Guys, probably where it's a bit of a stretch, but I feel like Wado is on the Ibushi trajectory. It feels like the company maybe sees him as that sort of wrestler.
Well, I mentioned to you that he's been training with Ibushi, right?
No.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's...
Okay, that's... I was going to say, it looks like he studied Ibushi match structure for this one.
Yeah,
It felt very much like an Ibushi main event.
I mean, I think that you can track it just by looking at his bod, because there was a distinct window where we learned that he had been working out and training with Ibushi, and it happened at roughly the same time his shoulders doubled in size. he just got 3 inches wider, and it was oh, that's the Ibushi influence, I guess.
Interesting.
But yeah, I have heard people on this very podcast say that the kicks are looking better.
Yes.
I sort of agree. I still feel like he needs to find a way to make them louder, because I think that his stuff is weirdly quiet in general for a guy who's focusing on striking so much. I think he needs to get loud.
This is, obviously the wrong environment production quality wise to ask that of him. You couldn't hear anything, but I agree.
It's been an issue for the tournament.
No, and I think as much as sound, I think he needs to work on the kicks looking stronger, just snappier. But I think that he's come a long way in that regard. I like his new-ish combo.
Yeah.
The one where he kind of kneels down and elbows you in the gut, and then a couple mid-level kicks. I like it.
Yeah. Sometimes he misses with some of those. I think it was the previous night where he just kind of straight up missed, but it was still good to see him. But yeah, it was a good show. Do you think it is show Hiromu, show Despi?
I think I have show Hiromu in the final.
Yeah. Okay.
In my own personal little bracket.
Yeah. I still want for it to be Despi Hiromu just because I want Despi to win in a big spot. But
absolutely.
If they're thinking they should have some other wrestlers in good matches, I mean, again, they're right. They should do that. Mm-hmm. So here's hoping. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. I think that's our time.
Yeah.
We should do plugs.
Yes.
Quickly.
We have a podcast that we do that is not about wrestling, but sometimes wrestling creeps in. It is called Gift Horse.
You can follow it at Gift Horse Pod on Twitter. You can find it on all the pod catchers. I have a novel coming out. If you go to MikeMcGinnis.com, that's MEGINNIS. You got your pre-order links there. It's called Drowning Practice. It's about a mother and daughter at the end of the world. And it's sad. You can purchase
but also
it.
Funny.
Yeah, also funny, I'm told.
I develop games, just small stuff so far, but if you want to check out my visual novel game, The Fight, also not about wrestling despite the name, you can check that out at bikeandbug.itch.io. Just give me a follow there and see what I'm up to.
Yeah. Thank you again for having us in your home. In your podcast feed. Congratulations to Joel and Mally. Congratulations to Damon. Good luck to his liver. And
yay!
Everybody have a good rest of your week, your evening.
Bye-bye.
Hello, people of Earth, and hello, people of the Super J-Cast fandom. My name is Curtis Spears, and I'm here today to break down for you Best of the Super Juniors, Night 4 from Aichi Prefectural Gymnasium. But I'm not going to be doing it alone. I've got Rafe Houston of the Faces and Feels podcast to do it with me. Buddy, how you doing today, Rafe?
I'm doing really good. Thank you, Curtis. This is great, man. We're like one of those tag teams that's been put together. We're just two random singles wrestlers, don't even know each other, but guess what? We're now in the tournament, and that's going to be really interesting to see how it shakes out. We'll see if Joel and Damon are good matchmakers.
I think they are. We've actually become best friends behind the scenes. I don't know if they knew that was going to happen. I'm not sure how they knew it was going to happen, but it just magically happened. So that's pretty cool.
It is. We're kind of like the same dude, but just like in different parts of the world in a lot of things. We share a lot of same interests, so that helps.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm an American living in London, talking about a Japanese wrestling promotion with a dude in Australia.
Who also really likes, yeah, I know it's weird, who also really likes Japanese wrestling, who also has a show that regularly interviews deathmatch wrestlers and kind of anybody else that I can meet.
Yeah, no, your show is really entertaining. One of the coolest things about your show is that you have such access to people around the world. I was shocked that you had a person who I've grew up watching, Darren McCarty of the Red Wings, the Detroit Red Wings, the most hated team in the NHL for me. And you're sitting there talking to him about his Stanley Cup run, his flirtations with deathmatch wrestling, and his pro wrestling fandom in general. Oh, what a great show, man. That was fantastic.
Thank you, man. That was really kind of special and a little bit strange for me because, like, in Australia, we don't have ice. So I didn't know who McCarty was. I knew him from ICW No Holds Barred, a promotion that I watch regularly on IWTV. He had a match there with a wrestler named Brandon Kirk, and I really liked it. And then he followed me on Twitter, and I just kind of was like, thanks for the thing. And we got talking, and we became friends. So, yeah, it was really cool. I've got quite a few interviews there that I'm really proud of. I'm up to, like, I don't know, 85 episodes or something now, but I'm somebody who, if you go all the way back to my first episode, it's called Where to Start with New Japan. And that was what I started my podcast intending it to be. I was inspired by shows like the Super J-Cast, and we're going to be inspired by the Spotlight series, but it was mainly I just wanted to kind of talk about the stuff I liked and also my own trips to Japan. I've been there many times now, really enjoyed it. And then the interview stuff just sort of started to spiral out of that. So it's been a bit of a crazy run, and it's kind of a little bit of a dream come true to be involved with the Super J-Cast right now. I've been listening, since before it was Super J-Cast, since like the Purocast, so this is going to be pretty awesome. Have you been a fan of the show for a long time?
I wouldn't say a long time. I've been a fan of this show maybe 2 years now. I just discovered it a couple of years ago Oh gosh, it's been longer than that now. I've been in England for almost 4 years now, so I've been a fan of about 4 years now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was a good time. I love the show. New Japan is where I hang my hat. I don't really watch much other wrestling, but Puro's it for me. I discovered it when I was a little kid. I grew up watching WCW with my father. My dad's a redneck from way back, so I was raised on that Southern wrestling.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw Jushin Liger. I remember the first time I saw the Great Muta, and I was hooked ever since. So New Japan's my love and my passion, man.
Absolutely. I was saying to you off mic and stuff that, like, with everything I've been doing for the show and kind of all the coverage and that, I haven't been able to watch as much as I used to. You know, I keep apprised of everything, and I'm honestly like watch it whenever I can. But there was a time when I was just watching absolutely everything. I've been to Japan a bunch of times. Like for Wrestle Kingdoms, I actually went to the same Wrestle Kingdom that Joel first went to Wrestle Kingdom 12. We didn't run into each other there. Maybe we did. I don't know. but yeah, there's been a few kind of crossing of the ways and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be
so
fun.
Jealous of that.
Oh, dude.
So jealous.
Have you ever been or no?
No, the farthest I've ever been out of my own country of America was to England, and I just kind of stayed here. So,
well, hopefully the world sorts its shit out, and you know, there's a time in the future we can all, you know, meet up in Japan, because it really is the best place. Like Damon had said on the podcast that there's life before Tokyo and life after Tokyo, and I 100% agree with everything he's said. So, yeah. This is going to be great, man. This is going to be really exciting. I love the show today, and I'm really looking forward to talking about it. I do have to tell you, though, that I kind of was talking to a few friends and let them know that this was happening and we were hosting the show and what was going on with Joel. And so I did have a couple of friends say they may call in. So we'll have to just see how that kind of goes. And then, you know, maybe we'll hear a couple of friendly faces.
Live reaction sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
I like that.
We'll have to see.
So let's go ahead and start breaking down the matches while we're at it. Match 1 for night 4 of tonight was a Young Lion match between Yuta Nakashima and Ryohei Oiwa. It was a draw with Oiwa ending the plus position. This was in Oiwa's hometown, so it was a lot of fun. These kids were showing a lot of fire tonight. Have any of the Young Lions really stood out to you?
So Oiwa is the one who stood out to me, mainly because it's the first time my wife's watched it with me in a while, and she couldn't stop talking about how handsome he was. And I was like, yeah, that dude's straight up beautiful. Like, I'm like, give him the coats and the championships and all the stuff. Like, he's somebody you could build New Japan about, much like Uemura, who's currently on Excursion or whatever. These two kind of like tick all the boxes, like in looks and skill and build and all those things. So yeah, he stood out immediately.
Yeah, it looks like Oiwa's been gaining a little bit of muscle. Now that his hair is growing back from the time he shaved his head, he's starting to fill out a little bit more. He looks like a normal human being. I saw his very first match a couple of months ago when he first started wrestling as a young lion, and he looks so mean. Like, you say that he looks handsome, but when I saw him, I said, that dude looks mean.
Really?
He looks lean, fast, hungry. And I thought this guy's going to have a heel written all over him.
Yeah, right. No, that's really interesting. The other guy as well had like a real kind of lantern jaw, like a kind of bigger physical guy, and he kind of looked like he was putting on a lot of size as well.
Yeah, definitely. That was Yuto Nakashima. Yeah, he was the young lion from many months ago who, about 15 seconds into his first match, he tore his shoulder and had to sit out for a while.
Oh, so, no. Yeah, that's no good.
Now he's back to competing regularly, and it's pretty cool to see, because we've got 3 looks like promising young lions that really have some. Was that a phone?
Oh, that might actually be our first call there, buddy. Hang on, let me just see what's going on here. Hang on one moment. Caller, you're on the air.
Joel, this is Gino Gambino, and I just want to say, how dare you take any time off the Super J cast and leave this man in charge. A quick congratulations. Hope the family is well, and well done, mate. Look forward to hearing you back soon.
And there we go.
Gino Gambino.
Yeah, that's a pretty big name there. Friend of the show, Gino Gambino. When he found out that Joel was off to have his baby boy, he wanted to put in his congratulations. So thanks for your time, Gino. That was awesome.
What a beautiful moment. Wow, that's fantastic, man. You said you had surprises. I didn't know you had surprises.
You know, you meet a few people along the way. I was really happy to pass on that message for Gino to Joel. And yeah, before we get too far into it, let's give our congratulations to Joel, to Mally, to Esther, to Arthur, and hopefully everybody's, doing really well. And obviously Damon on vacation as well. Hopefully he's not working too hard.
Yeah, congratulations to Damon on drinking as many margaritas as I'm sure he possibly can. So
I love it. Hopefully. Anyway, sorry to ambush you with that.
I appreciate it. That's a good place for us to stop. We can start talking about match number 2 now.
Yeah, let's go.
Second match of the night, which was the first best of the Super Juniors tournament match. Yoshinobu Kanemaru sitting at 2 wins, 4 total points, versus Doki also sitting at 2 wins, 4 total points. This match, Doki, he's been having a great tournament so far. He's been busting his ass in New Japan for years, and he's finally getting some real recognition now. Suzuki Gun, I think, should put together a never 6-man team and get Doki a belt. This match was better than it had any right to be. There was some Suzuki Gun shenanigans where they were threatening each other's weapons at ringside, Doki's pipe and Kanemaru's whiskey bottle. Lots of fun to be had, but in the meantime, they were just hitting great moves on each other.
Absolutely. Don't you think like Kanemaru as well, for his age, looks way younger. The dude's 45. He can still go. He absolutely kills it. And when you talk about Suzuki Gun shenanigans as well, the craftiness always kind of stands out with those guys. Like when Doki goes to jump out of the ring, and instead of staying there for it, Kanemaru immediately jumps over the next railing to be even further away. I was like, yeah, why don't more people do that?
Kanemaru he's such a crafty veteran.
He is, isn't he?
And the best part about their shenanigans are cheeky and fun, whereas the House of Torture shenanigans are tragic.
And boring. Yeah.
It's terrible.
House of Torture, Haunted Castle. I call them the Hot Boys, H-O-T, Hot Boys. Works pretty well.
Sure, except for I guess Dick Togo's not really a hot boy, but Sho and Evil are attractive men. We can call them the hot boys.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're forgetting Yujiro's giant jeans that we were talking about the other day.
Oh, Yujiro's beautiful mom jeans. It looks like he brought trip pants from a Hot Topic in 1999. And so I would expect superfluous pockets and chains hanging off of them, and he's going to go to a Korn Limp Bizkit show or something.
That's what I was like. I haven't seen pants like that since I was wearing them in 2002. Dreadlocks down my back. It was sick. But yeah, anyway, give them back.
Yeah, this really does seem to me to be a Doki congratulatory tournament right now.
He's killing it, man.
Did not get the win. He did not get the win today. Kanemaru wins with a deep impact. What I think is they should actually, since they're both Suzuki Gun, put those two together, let them go on a run for the junior tag belts while Despy is carrying the junior heavyweight title. That'd be a lot of fun, and it might add a little bit of spice to a boring division right now.
Yeah, I think that would be a great team, and I think Kanemaru would have a lot to teach Doki. I think that could be really cool. I agree 100%.
All right, so let's break down match number 3. Master Wato sitting at 1 win, 2 points, versus Taiji Ishimori with 2 wins, 4 points. And this one really impressed me. I've been kind of soft on Wato. I know a lot of people are hard on him and a lot of people love him. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I wasn't really impressed at first, but it seems like lately his confidence is showing a lot more. Ishimori was working his arm because he's been winning a lot with the bone lock. Wato, though, was really getting that babyface sympathy that he used to get as a young lion back before his excursion. Of course, La Mystica goes into bone lock and seals it for Taiji Ishimori, but I thought it was a really exciting final stretch. What did you think about this match, and what do you think about Master Wato in general?
At first, I definitely hated the gimmick and everything when it came in, but it feels like he's starting to find his own a little bit for sure. He's, building up confidence. He's building up his body. He's kind of got some cooler colors going with the dark blue instead of the thing. He does have that Karen haircut, which is...
He does want to speak to the manager of wrestling.
I saw Joel's tweet like that and I loved it. It was hell funny. But that even kind of suits him. So yeah, I think he's coming along, man. At first, when he used to enter the ring, he used to look like that meme of that dog where it's got the nervous vest on, the one where it's He's like a deer in the headlights, bro. He looks so shocked, but he's picking up steam, man. And so even though he didn't pick up the win there, I definitely think he's looking better, and you can start to see an upside, you know? And then Ishimori himself, I love that he's ditched the like shredder type motif, and he's now got that kind of military cap skull, like actually looking like some kind of bone soldier. That was really cool. And he's so crisp, though I will say that Doki, for me, sometimes his moves are a little bit, I don't know, sloppy or risky, and I do worry, like in execution sometimes. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look like it's going to land right, you know? So, I mean, yeah, he's going to pick up. Did I say Doki or did I say Wato?
You said Doki still.
Nah, everybody knew what I meant. I'm not here to spoon feed you.
We knew you meant Wato. Yeah, no, Wato didn't really have to worry about landing moves crisply in CMLL because no one else does. So I think that's a thing he's got to unlearn.
Works out perfect.
Yeah. It's sad that you mentioned the actual Super Shredder helmet. I miss the Super Shredder helmet. I think it looks cool. I like his new jacket, and I like the new gear with the camouflage on it. But man, I miss that super cool Super Shredder helmet.
I mean, it was definitely cool, but I was like, what is Bone Soldier about this? Like, in any way?
I'm not sure what is Bone Soldier about Taiji Ishimori to begin with. I mean, wasn't he like a heartthrob character in Noah?
I don't know. I'm not really a Noah guy in any way, so I'm not the person to speak on it. In all the Japanese wrestling I've been fortunate enough to see live, they're the only ones I haven't, I think. But Noah and All Japan I haven't seen, but I've seen like everything else.
Oh, you probably did. You catch any like big Japan deathmatch shows and stuff like that?
No, I did. Wrestle Kingdom in that year, Wrestle Kingdom 12, was the reason I got into deathmatch wrestling. So we were there and we were trying to see whatever wrestling we could, you know, and just went to like the Korakuen Hall box office like, yo, what else is on? And walked into a show and ended up seeing stuff by accident. And then it was like, oh man, this is pretty awesome. And then that kind of changed the entire direction of stuff that I liked.
I think I'll become a prolific podcaster about this exact subject right now.
I wouldn't call myself prolific, but I have been fortunate enough to end up just meeting a lot of people. And you know, like what it's like when you sort of meet people and stuff, it just snowballs, and then they introduce you to somebody else and blah, 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 and you kind of just go down this wormhole forever. But it's an amazing community, man. I know you were saying that you haven't really been into any deathmatch stuff historically, but there's definitely some good stuff I can recommend. And that goes for anybody. If you want to know some good stuff, I can definitely help you find your way into that kind of stuff. Oh, what's that?
Oh, hello, caller.
Yeah, caller, you're on the air.
Yo, what's up, Joel? It's Aaron Henare here from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And on behalf of the United Empire, we just want to wish you congratulations for you and your wife, Marley, on the birth of your baby boy. Little Arthur, hope he turns out to be a king. Keep up the good work with the Super J cast, and we'll keep tuning in, eh? Thank you, brother. Take care.
Thank you, Aaron Hanare.
Oh, wow. Well, isn't this day just full of surprises? It's the wrestling gods just keep giving. What a fantastic time.
Man, I've been really fortunate to meet like a lot of great people since I've been doing the podcast and since I've been traveling and going to wrestling. So yeah, it was nice that a bunch of the guys wanted to contribute and said they were going to call in. So it's pretty good. I'm sorry to keep hijacking the show. My phone just keeps blowing up. So on to the next match moment.
You're a popular man. You're a popular man. You got to do things. People expect things of you.
I'm not sure that's true. But these are all, I will say these couple of guests there, amazing people who have been very giving of their time and are genuine hardworking wrestlers, you know, and fans of wrestling. And they are too, and they're fans of the Super J cast. So when I told them what I was doing and stuff, they were right away, didn't even hesitate because they've been very aware of the Super J cast for a long time.
That's awesome. And who isn't a fan of the Super J cast?
I don't know. If they're not, fans. They're wrong. They're just wrong.
100% right. Let's move on to match 4. Yeah, we had a match with Yo versus my wife's favorite wrestler, Ryusuke Taguchi.
Ooh.
So Yo is currently sitting at 0 points, 0 wins.
Oh, Yo.
Very sad time for Yo. Ryusuke Taguchi sitting at 2 points with 1 win.
Can I just say one thing that Yo isn't sitting at 0 on is pockets, because he had hundreds of them on his
pockets. He looks like Rob Liefeld drawing Deadpool back in the 90s.
It was ridiculous. I was like, what's in all of those?
I'm sure he had like a snack. His mom like made sure he had a Snickers bar on him or something.
Like whatever energy Snickers can give him clearly wasn't enough that he couldn't get the job done against Taguchi though.
Can I tell you the thing that struck me the most when this match first started?
Please.
Yo and Ryusuke, they're doing their initial lockups and trading, and Yo's giving these like half cocky smiles, and he's playing into Taguchi's shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
And do you not realize you're on 0 points?
Yeah.
You should be looking more serious, more concerned. If you don't care, why should I care?
Yeah, what do you have to be cocky about? You're a loser. you're not even the best ex-member of Roppongi 3K.
You're not moving with any urgency right now. And finally, it's like 7 minutes in, I think, was where the match really started. Yo finally wakes up. He does a big tope to the outside, some good power moves. Taguchi threw a gorgeous tiger suplex. Yo then turns around and throws a gorgeous snapdragon suplex. It's a much better match from there. Taguchi won with the Dodon. Yo's last win, and thanks to Liam on the Super J-Cast Discord for finding this out, Yo's last win was July 24th of this year. He was part of a 6-man Chaos versus Suzuki-Gun tag match.
Ugh.
That's near half a year this dude's gone without a win.
Dude, that's rough, man, and it's rough to hear. Yeah, I don't know where they're going with Yo. I don't think he knows. I don't think they know. When he first came back, from the injury and sort of had that match with Sho when he had too many straps on him. He likes to have too many accessories and stuff, and he had that terrible out-of-time music and things like that. I knew he was lost from that moment. I'm like, they do not know what they're doing.
Is it that they don't know what they're doing, or that he doesn't care what they're doing? It seems like he's maybe got other interests right now.
I don't know. What would the other interests be? Pockets? Like
Music
snowboarding? Hitting the slopes? He looks like a snowboarder. Yeah, exactly. What I will say, the highlights of this match for me were all based around your wife's favourite wrestler, Taguchi. A lot of people will give Taguchi shit and Yano shit and stuff like that because, they're not the serious wrestlers. They're not the guys that are going to be delivering the 5 stars and stuff like that. What I will say for me is that they're crucial members of the roster because when you come through and you do tournaments and stuff like this, they give somebody like Yo the opportunity to run back and forward on the ropes 15 times in a row. They give Yo the opportunity to rest and not be injured while Taguchi sells his ass laying on the ground with his feet in the air for like 5 minutes, which was hilarious, by the way. I was in stitches as he just lay there like a statue for like ages. And then Yo starts to scream at him and they're like counting him like, 1, 2. And he's just like a statue.
Dead still.
So funny, man. And like, I can understand why they're not for everybody, but I always look at wrestling shows like a variety show, and not everybody can be delivering the 6-star match, So I think that's why they'll always have like such a big part of New Japan because those are crucial characters.
Speaking of crucial characters, match number 5, Bushi sitting at 2 wins with 4 points against Sho. Sho Tanaka, 3 wins and 6 points.
Sho's the man in this tournament, man. He's killing it for me. I love it. I hate all the hot boy stuff, but like I think he's on a serious trajectory right now, man.
Well, the thing about it is, you and I were talking about Sho before the tournament started. Little background information. We actually met about 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Joel introduced us to each other. We've been talking New Japan and talking death matches and things like that since. Mm-hmm. And the thing about Sho is we both wanted to see him do more of an MMA-inspired character, something to deal with his actual love of mixed martial arts, something where he could, if Sho, like I said to you before, if Sho showed up in this tournament and just started claiming arms, taking fingers, taking elbows, taking shoulders, and just adding them to his necklace, like men in Vietnam used to have ears on their
like
collars.
A Dolph Lundgren from Universal Soldier situation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
if he started doing something like that, man, I'd be over the moon about it right now. Yeah. I was a big fan of Sho when he was in Roppongi 3K.
Same.
I was very excited when they split up because I said this guy's going to do something special, and that something special is hitting people with a wrench.
That's the only downside, is you're going to get that HOT Haunted Castle bullshit. Though after the first night, when Togo's in the ring and all that kind of stuff, I've been pleasantly surprised when it's just a wrench or it's just cheating bullshit. I'm glad we haven't had to see the entire team every single match, because that would completely exhaust me. I can deal with a dastardly character, that's got a bit of a tap on the shoulder and you can tell he's going to go deep in this tournament. He may even win the thing, because he's clearly maybe one of the only people in New Japan that they sort of have a vision for and a target set for him. They're doing stuff with him. And so, for me, I think I'm just relieved it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, I was expecting the worst.
He goes through most of his match 100% doing exactly what I want. He started out this match by doing small joint manipulation on Bushi's fingers and his wrist. And that, to me, is healier than anything the House of Torture does.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And unfortunately for Bushi and Sho, I just zoned out during Bushi's entire control period. The crowd was so hot all night, and this whole match just killed the crowd. And then the ref bump. The ref bump looked like The Rock taking a Stone Cold Stunner.
It was amazing.
Like fish.
That dude was like, whoa! He went forever. He was like, this is my moment. I'm doing it.
Oh, yeah. He went for it. He dived, and he was a little bit sloppy on the landing. The Russian judge gave him an 8. He may have to settle for the bronze. But it was fantastic.
It was.
And Sho, of course, whips out the wrench and wins via bullshit shenanigans. And my heart sank.
Though cool sort of heel character work after that, like getting up the ref and he's all discombobulated, making him hold up his arm, getting out of the ring and like seeing Bushi's clothes on the side and like smashing him over onto the ground, laughing maniacally and stuff like that. I was like, he's getting it. He's picking up steam. He's getting confidence, because at first, for me, when he changed, his eyes just looked glazed over. I was like, is this dude like asleep? Like, he just looked scared and uncertain, and he's definitely kind of finding his place in what he's doing.
Absolutely. Moving on to match number 6, Robbie Eagles with 1 win, 2 points versus El Phantasmo with 1 win, 2. Oh, hello caller, you're on the air.
Oh, g'day to the Super J cast. This is Robbie Eagles, the Sniper of the Skies, the current one half of the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. And I just wanted to wish Joel and Mally huge congratulations on the birth of their new boy, Arthur. Enjoy your break. Looking forward to having you guys back on the podcast. And let's hope that Lamar Reynolds scores a few hat tricks, just like I'm looking to get 3 in a row in the best of the Super Juniors. All the best, guys.
Thank you, Robbie.
That was great. Robbie Eagles, thank you very much for calling into our show. We enjoyed your match tonight.
He's an absolute gentleman, and pulling back the curtain of the caller gimmick, he sent me that like an hour before he was going to the ring, basically. So, because it's been literally full on tour buses and everything like that. So I really appreciate Robbie's time. I appreciate Hanare's time, Gino's time. And Robbie also said to watch the match because there's a little eagle. Sorry, not an eagle. I was going to say an eagle egg, but I guess that's kind of appropriate. There's a little
Let's go with that. It's an eagle egg.
An eagle egg in the match for the Super J-Cast fans.
That's awesome. So the match itself, this is the first time since the Super J Cup 2 years ago that they've matched up. 2-0, all-time record for ELP against Robbie Eagles. And this was great. It started out a little awkward. It was a cocky ELP versus a brimming with confidence Robbie. It was big match feel. And they start going like a spot for spot. Can you top this? But then they started doing like the Don Fry Takayama elbows, which was a bit odd. They're not really like big knockout artists or anything like that.
No, but they were laying them in though.
Mark.
Yeah,
they were.
I think it just comes down to them hating each other, right? Like they're always talking shit on each other whenever they get a chance in interviews. I think Robbie Eagles called El Phantasmo El Dickhead one time, which was a big highlight for me. And they always just hate each other. So I can understand them just like degrading down to just throwing forearms.
Did you see AOP's jacket on the way down?
I saw it and it looked awesome, but like the camera for me, or at least when I was, all the times I kind of caught it, didn't really get it in focus. All I saw at the end was sucks. So I imagine it probably said Robbie Eagles sucks, but...
Yeah, it said Robbie Eagles sucks LOL, and it would scroll across there. It was like red text on white background, so it didn't really show up very well. You should have gone with like a black a black background for red text, but it was very funny. I think there's a video on ELP's Twitter of Taiji Ishimori reading it for the first time and just laughing. It's very, very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So
chemistry
after
awesome.
After that moment, ELP finally remembers that he's ELP and he starts to turn up the heeliness.
Yeah.
And that's when the fun really starts. He's shouting his frustration at Eagles about how Eagles won the title before him.
I love that.
That was great. Robbie's speedy, high-impact offense is a perfect counter to ELP's sneaky, plodding, heelish ways. And the heeliest part about ELP is that you know that he can hang in a junior-style match, but he just chooses not to.
Just chooses to be a dick, like when he's walking the ropes and doing all the bounces and he flips over and then all he does is a back rake. Or like gets a run up from the other side of the ring, runs all the way and then just stops, stands up and then jumps on their nuts. Just a real douchebag in everything he does.
So there was a scary spot in the match. It looked like some sort of Burning Hammer variant that literally looked like Robbie got knocked silly, man.
He looked like he landed straight on his head, eh?
That was scary.
I was actually really worried. And then when he kicked out or whatever, I'm like, okay, he's cool. But yeah, it was like a very concerning moment. But that's how good these guys are. You know what I mean? It's like centimeter perfect precision in everything they do, especially against each other, because that chemistry is literally nuts.
So speaking of centimeter perfect precision, Robbie turns a powerbomb attempt into a Hurricane Rana flash pin for the win and finally beats ELP.
Yeah.
You said you really enjoyed this match. Was this your match of the night?
Yeah, I think it was actually. I think it really was. Like, just it had everything, like from the start, all the cockiness and them outdoing each other and the Ric Flair struts and all that dumb stuff, and then just as it ramps up and the peril and everything like that, like, yeah, I really think it was mine of the night. And also seeing that kind of journey of Robbie getting to that place, you know, and beating him, because it's been the story that they've sort of been telling for like a very long time.
It is, and I know that a lot of people get so angry at ELP, you know, when he does the walking the tightrope, backflip to back rake, you know, that sort of thing. People go, oh, this bastard. And it's like, yeah, he's doing a great job. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really fun to see him finally get vanquished by the valiant Robbie Eagles.
Yeah, the back rake kind of spots were what made me eventually like El Phantasmo, because at first I was a bit like everybody else. I'm like, this guy just sucks. Like, for me, it was go away heat at first, and then after a while, I was like, you're actually the best. It's really funny.
It took me seeing him live. I've seen him live a couple of times, and then finally, when it really turned over for me, was watching. I went to a Rev Pro show where he faced Michael Oku for the British junior heavyweight belt, and it was a fantastic moment. I'm a big fan of Michael Oku. I've been with him since he was, you know, just coming out of his training, and he's really taken off. I would love to see him in a BOSJ maybe next year or the year after. I think he's gonna be something huge someday. But yeah, that was really just seeing him live and seeing how he was able to put over Michael Oku so well. I said, that guy's fantastic.
Yeah, he's awesome. And Robbie as well, like his recent run with the title, it was nice to see him snatch up that title. And I don't know what the long-term plans are. I would love to see Robbie win this tournament. Obviously, Australian pride and all that, but he's just something awesome, and I feel like he's not done with that title by a long shot.
Moving on to match number 7 was Hiromu Takahashi, 2 wins, 4 points, versus El Desperado with 1 win, 2 points. And this was a rematch of my match of the year, personally, from 2020. They're currently 2-2 in singles matches, and I was so excited for this match. They start out with such fire and such fury that once they actually grab a wrestling hold, it's such a shock.
Yeah.
Desperado goes for a shoulder block takedown, and as he throws it, Hiromu turns it into some sort of like flying triangle choke. It was fantastic. I was like, that came out of nowhere. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. This match killed it for me, bro. How did you feel about it?
Dude, it was great. Like, it was really, really cool. Those two, we talk about chemistry in the last match, and these two are always going to have bangers. Their rivalry has gone on for quite some time now, and it's always charged. I messaged you because the feed for me did not have the subtitles. The way I watch it, for whatever reason, it didn't. And so when they were talking in the ring, I didn't know what they said. And I messaged you like, I wish I knew what they said right now, because I could tell it was something along those lines, but I didn't really know. And hearing that, it's just even more poetic, the story continues. Now I would love to see them go to the finals and beat it out with no time restrictions at all. Whether like somebody like Sho plays a spoiler to that, we're going to have to wait and see.
So let me go through the standings right now, and we'll get some thoughts on where everything's going. Mm-hmm. Sitting atop the mountain right now is Sho with 8 points. How do you feel about Sho so far?
So as I said, I think Sho's on a trajectory to maybe even win this whole thing. I think he's got the most kind of like character direction, and he's had the most changes. So he's kind of like the big push for me. Yeah, I think he'd probably be my favorite to win and to play a spoiler. For sure.
Okay, next up we've got Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Taiji Ishimori tied with 6 points. How do you feel about Yoshinobu Kanemaru?
Mm-hmm. A wily veteran. He's not going to win, but I always enjoy his matches and his shenanigans and his drinking.
How about Taiji Ishimori?
Big mask improvement. I don't think he's going to come close to winning. I think he's sort of had his time with the belt and everything like that. He's another one that I'd maybe like to see in a junior tag or something like that, maybe rejig the teams a little bit with all the House of Torture guys leaving. Maybe there's a different spot for him in Bullet Club.
Next up, we have Hiromu with 5 points. How do you feel about Hiromu's tournament so far?
Yeah, I mean, Hiromu can always go all the way, right? Like I think it's going to come down to numbers right at the end, and you're going to see him right up in there in the final, if not winning the whole thing.
We've got a big log jam next up. We've got Doki, Taguchi, Bushi, and Eagles, all with 4 points. How do you feel about Doki's tournament so far?
Doki's killing it. Again, I don't think he's going to win or even sniff at that, but this has been like a really good tournament to kind of have a bit of a showing as to what he can do. I love the idea of him and Kanemaru as a tag. That would be awesome.
Him and Kanemaru as a tag, or maybe they can do some sort of thing where they put together a never 6-man run with Doki.
Mm-hmm. That would be sick.
Next up, Ryusuke Taguchi. How do you feel about Taguchi's tournament?
Taguchi's exactly what I said he is, a crucial part of it. He's not going to win. He can pull out a banger occasionally, but yeah, he's just there for a good time and a rest night for the most part, I think.
And how about Bushi's tournament so far? 4 points.
I think I summed it up best when I sent you a text of a Venn diagram of Bushi's match. One side said best looks, other side said most boring, and then in the center said Bushi. And that's how I see him.
Next up, Robbie Eagles. How do you feel about Robbie's tournament?
Man, Robbie is obviously somebody I count as a friend. I want the absolute best for him. I think he's probably going to be cemented in that junior tag division for a bit, doing the Flying Tigers thing with Tiger Mask, which I know he'd be absolutely stoked with. You can learn so much from Tiger Mask. So I don't actually know if this tournament will be his to win. That said, I would absolutely love it if it was, and I could definitely see him winning one day for sure.
I would love to see him win. The thing about Robbie is he's got such a different style. He is a high flyer, but he'll grab your leg and he'll do a 450 to your leg before he throws on a leg submission. Yeah. It's so wild. It's something that's so out of sorts for all these other competitors, and I love that about him. And that's something that's my partner on my podcast, the Smart Foundation podcast, Shane, is a big Bret Hart fan.
Yes.
And I said, what if I mix something like Will Ospreay and Bret Hart? And he goes, what the hell are you actually talking about?
Yeah.
And so what if we had someone who could do the 450s splashes and things like that, but he's going to do it to your knee before he throws on a knee submission? And he's like, okay, hit me. So I gave him a couple of matches from last year's Best of the Super Juniors, his match against Desperado, his match against Sho, and his match against Hiromu Takahashi. And he says, yeah, this guy's fantastic. I like this guy.
It sums him up perfectly. He's like an aerial submission artist, and Sniper of the Skies is, as a result, the perfect moniker for him. You know what I mean? Exactly. He targets those areas and he attacks them until, he's just tapping people out. You normally think of high-flying wrestlers as that's going to be their finish and stuff, but he's all about submissions and grappling and stuff. He's just such a restless wrestler, man. He's really, really smart.
Really, really. Now, Despy is sitting next at 3 points. How do you feel about the Junior Heavyweight Champions tournament so far, sitting at 1.5 wins?
It's kind of a little bit expected. Like, you kind of think he's going to be dominant, but they never really are super dominant. They always will sit well in the mix, but they're not going to win it because, they're essentially winning a match against themselves, you know what I mean? And he could do it and they pick their own challenger, but it's not really as exciting. So I think he's going to probably continue to be screwed over a bit. He'll get some really dominant wins like later in the contest, but I think it probably, I haven't looked at the matches and seen how like the layout or stagger of the matches go, but I think he'll probably end up getting screwed over either in numbers or whatever, and you'll see like a Sho Hiromu, and then maybe they can have their big rematch at Wrestle Kingdom, or maybe Sho spoils everything.
Despy Hiromu at the Dome it fills me with a girlish glee to think of that. My heart is a flutter waiting for that match.
Just giggling my motherfucking ass off.
Oh, that's true. Next up, Watto, 2 points. Master Watto, what do you think so far?
I like to see him improving and things like that, but yeah, he's not ready for nothing just yet. He's got a little bit of a way to go.
Yeah, he's still kind of becoming a man. He's only 24 years old. He's exactly. A baby. He's got plenty of time. You know, people are saying, "Oh, this guy's a geek" and things like. No. He's a kid.
Yeah,
just wait.
Yeah, exactly right. And look at who he's got around him to teach him. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that being your training partners. Imagine that roster being the guys that you're regularly in there with. You're tagging with guys, you know, seasoned legends, you know, like they know how to groom talent, you know. He'll get there. He'll get there.
He'll get there. ELP, 1 win, 2 points. How do you feel about ELP so far?
Really like ELP. Again, I don't think he's in the mix at the very end, but I love all the stuff he's doing with like the loaded boot and everything like that. And, you know, it even hurts him and stuff like with everything he's doing. Like, and I think it's really clever. And I think there's going to be bigger things for ELP, but I don't think it's necessarily within this tournament.
And finally, Yo with 0 points, 0 wins, and 0 reason to even continue in the tournament. How do you feel about him so far?
I think, he will maybe continue that way. He may pick up an upset win or two, but I don't think they've got any plans for Yo. Is he even still in Chaos? Like, does he even wrestle there anymore? Do you even go here, Yo? We don't know. So.
That was great.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think you've just summed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have a lot of similar views, so I think everything you are saying is everything I wanted to hear.
Yeah, exactly. It was a test. It was a friendship test.
So that's the end of our coverage of day 4 of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament. If people wanted to hear more from you, where would they be able to hear you?
Oh, thank you, man. You can check out Faces and Feels Pro Wrestling Podcast at Faces Feels Cast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or you can go to redcircle.com/faces and feels. Little bit of trivia. I found out how to host my podcast thanks to Joel from the Super J Cast, because when I wanted to start, I didn't know what to do or how to do it, and he recommended Red Circle. And then that in turn puts me on all of the main platforms that you can go to, so you can find it Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, redcircle.com/faces and feels. You can click listen on and select anything you want. So thanks again for that piece of advice, Joel, and congratulations. Tell people where to find yourself, Curtis.
You can find my podcast on all the beautiful places where podcasts live. My podcast is the Smark Foundation podcast. We are a positive pro wrestling podcast. We got kind of tired of people having all the negativity about the various large corporations, you know, the ones. You can find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
To the Super J Cast. The regular guys will be back next week, I believe it is, Curtis.
I think so, unless they're going to have Booze Leprechaun fill in again, which, I mean, she was doing great, so that would be welcome, but I do miss Joel and Damon.
Yeah. Shout out to the guys last week. They absolutely killed it. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to having Joel and Damon back. And yeah, thanks for letting us have the keys to the kingdom for a little bit. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, man. This was when I got that email that said that we were going to be doing this, I got all tingly, and I'm glad I made a new friend out of it. This was really cool.
It was, man. It's definitely not going to be the last time we're going to speak for sure. We'll probably keep popping up on each other's shows or something like that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So all the Super J Cast listeners out there, thank you for your time. And I think I can do the sign off for both of us when I say, on behalf of the Smark Foundation, on behalf of the Super J Cast, and on behalf of Faces and Feels, remember, it's all about peace, love, and pro wrestling.
Now is the best time to start working at Amazon. They are offering sign-on bonuses up to $3,000 and hourly pay up to $22 per hour. You'll bring home a great weekly paycheck, and many jobs come with benefits that start on your first day. That's higher pay, sign-on bonuses, benefits day one. And you'll be part of a safe and inclusive workplace ranked among the best in the world. Go to Amazon.com/apply to start your job search today. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Hello, this is Discover, and we take customer service very seriously. We know that if you have a question or concern about your credit card, that's a serious matter, and you need to talk to a real person about it. So we offer around-the-clock access to seriously talented representatives in the USA. Again, it's a serious endeavor. The only funny thing about it is Bob. If you call us and Bob answers, you're in for a treat. Get 100% US-based customer service and talk to a real person day or night. Discover. Exceptionally common sense.